touch her one more time and I'll break every bone in your hand." Hannah didn't recognize her own voice, low shaking with rage she'd buried for 20 years. The manager's palm was still raised above the crying child. The little girl's silence was worse than any scream. No sound came out when she opened her mouth. Just terror. Pure, helpless terror. And then Hannah saw him, the quiet man from booth 7, rising from a seat like a shadow taking human form. His eyes promised death. She'd just defended a mafia boss's daughter. She'd just signed her own death warrant. What? Or had she? Subscribe right now if you want to see how this ends. Stay until the final word. Comment your city, so I know how far this story travels. Trust me, you've never heard anything like what's coming. Mama, mama! The little girl's mouth formed the word over and over, but nothing came out except desperate choking sounds that tore at something primal in Hannah Westbrook's chest. She dropped the dish she'd been washing. Soapy water splashed across the kitchen floor. "Get back here, you little brat." Manager Rick Thompson's voice cracked through the kitchen like a whip. "I said stay put." Hannah spun around. The child, maybe 6, maybe 7, stood pressed against the walk-in refrigerator, her small body trembling so hard her teeth chattered. Her cheek was already turning red, handprint shaped red. Rick's hand was raised again. Time crystallized. Hannah saw everything in brutal clarity. Rick's twisted face purple with rage. The little girl's dark eyes flooded with tears. The way the child's mouth kept forming words that wouldn't come. The desperate animal panic of someone who couldn't scream for help. Hannah moved. She didn't think, didn't calculate, didn't consider consequences. Her hand shot out and caught Rick's wrist mid-swing. Her grip locked down like a vice. 20 years of carrying 30-pound trays had given her hands like steel. "Touch her one more time," Hannah heard herself say, her voice dropping to something she barely recognized, "and I'll break every bone in your hand." Rick's head whipped toward her. Shock, then fury. "Westbrook, have you lost your goddamn mind? Have you?" Hannah stepped between him and the child. "She's terrified. She's trying to talk, and she can't, and you're hit at her." "She's not my problem. Her father dumps her here, expects us to babysit while he has his fancy dinner, and I'm supposed to just..." "She's a child, Rick. A little girl who's clearly..." Hannah looked at the girl again, saw her mouth moving soundlessly, saw her small hands starting to make shapes in the air. "Oh my God, she's mute." "I don't care what she is." Rick yanked his arm from Hannah's grip. "She's disrupting my kitchen. She won't follow instructions, and I'm taking her out there right now to tell her father that Giordano's doesn't run a charity for defective..." The slap happened so fast, Hannah's palm was stinging before her brain caught up. She'd hit him. She'd actually struck her manager. Rick's head rocked back. He touched his face, fingers coming away to check for blood. When he looked at Hannah again, his eyes were black with rage. "You're done. Fired. Get your things and get out." "Fine." Hannah's heart hammered, but her voice stayed steady. "But you lay one more finger on that little girl, and I'm calling the police and child services. You hear me?" "Oh, I hear you." Rick's smile was ugly. "I also hear you signing up for a lawsuit. Assault in the workplace, Westbrook. I've got witnesses. Angelo saw the whole thing." The prep cook near the stove looked away quickly. "Go ahead and sue," Hannah said. "I'll tell them exactly why I hit you. Let's see how that plays with a jury." "You stupid..." Rick started forward, but Hannah stood her ground. Then a sound cut through the tension. Applause. Slow, deliberate. Each clap echoing off the stainless steel like a gunshot. Hannah turned. The man standing in the kitchen doorway was tall, well over 6 feet, with salt and pepper hair and a face carved from granite. His suit probably cost more than Hannah made in 6 months. Everything about him screamed power, but it was wrong power. Dangerous power. The kind of power that left bodies in the Chicago River. "Entertaining," the man said, his voice quiet and smooth as silk over razor blades. "Truly entertaining." Rick went white. "Mr. Cross, I was just teaching my daughter a lesson." The man Cross took 3 steps into the kitchen. Somehow those 3 steps made everyone else move back. "By striking her. Is that the lesson, that big men can hit small children who can't fight back?" "Sir, I never meant she was in a restricted area. She's 6 years old." Cross's voice never rose above conversational volume. Somehow that made it more terrifying. "She doesn't speak. She was frightened. She came looking for help, and you struck her across the face hard enough to leave a mark. The little girl made a sound, half sob, half gasp, and ran, straight to Cross. He caught her without looking, lifting her into his arms in one smooth motion. His hand cradled the back of her head as she buried her face in his neck. And Hannah understood. This wasn't a customer. This was her father. This was Ethan Cross. The Ethan Cross, Chicago's South Side king. The man federal prosecutors had been trying to bury for 15 years. The man 3 witnesses against had disappeared. The man who'd allegedly ordered 17 executions in the past decade alone, and Hannah had just interfered in his family business. Mr. Cross, Rick stammered. I apologize profusely. If you'd known she was mine, you wouldn't have hit her. Cross's eyes were black ice. So you make a habit of striking children who don't belong to dangerous men. That's your defense. No, I meant, show me your hand. Rick blinked. What? The hand you used to strike my daughter. Show it to me, bang. Hannah's stomach dropped. She'd seen enough mob movies, read enough news stories. She knew what came next. Rick must have known too, because his face went from white to gray, but he extended his right hand, trembling visibly. Cross-examined it with the detached interest of a scientist studying bacteria. Then, still holding his daughter with one arm, he reached out almost gently and took Rick's wrist. The snap was sharp, clean, loud. Rick's scream pierced the kitchen. He collapsed, cradling his broken wrist, tears streaming down his face. That's for touching her, Cross said calmly, as if discussing the weather. If I ever see you within 100 yards of my daughter again, I'll take the whole arm. Slowly, with a hacksaw. Do we have an understanding? Rick could only sob and nod. Cross's attention shifted to Hannah. His gaze landed on her like a physical weight, and Hannah felt her lungs forget how to work. This was it. This was where she died. She'd interfered. She'd created a scene. She'd drawn attention to a man who lived in shadows. Hannah Westbrook. He read her name tag. You stopped him. It wasn't a question. Yes. Hannah's voice came out steadier than she expected. Yes, I did. Why? The question hung in the air between them. Because she's a little girl, Hannah said. Because she was scared. Because she couldn't call for help. Because no one else was going to. Something flickered across Cross's face. Not quite a smile. Not quite approval. Something harder to define. Lily, he said softly, and the little girl lifted her head from his shoulder. Show Miss Westbrook what you told me. The girl Lily turned to face Hannah. Her small hands moved in quick, precise patterns. Sign language. Hannah's throat tightened. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I don't understand. She says you were kind. Cross translated, his voice softer now. She says you called her sweetheart, even though you didn't know who she was. She says you made her feel safe. He paused. She says you have kind eyes, like her mother. Past tense. Hannah looked at this powerful, terrifying man holding his daughter like she was made of spun glass and saw something that didn't fit the legend. Grief. Anyone would have done the same, Hannah said quietly. No. Cross's voice was absolute. They wouldn't. Most people look away. Most people decide it's not worth the risk. Most people value their jobs over a stranger's child. His eyes bored into hers. You just lost your job protecting mine. I'd do it again. Even knowing who I am. Hannah glanced at Rick, still sobbing on the floor, looked at the prep cook, who wouldn't meet her eyes, saw the dishwasher who'd suddenly found urgent business in the far corner. Everyone was terrified. Everyone except her. Especially knowing who you are, Hannah said, because if you're half the man the rumors say you are, you protect family above everything. In that moment, I protected your family too. So no, Mr. Cross. I don't regret it. The silence stretched so long, Hannah wondered if she'd miscalculated. Then Ethan Cross smiled. It wasn't warm, it wasn't friendly, but it was real. Courage, he said. Reckless, probably suicidal courage, but courage. He shifted Lily slightly. How long have you worked here? The shift in topic threw her. 3 years. Before that, different restaurants, 20 years total in service. Family. Hannah hesitated. No, my parents died 5 years ago. Cancer, no siblings, no husband, no kids, just me. Good. Excuse me? I'm about to offer you a charm, Cross said, and I need to know you won't be leaving anyone behind when you take it. Hannah's brain stuttered. A job. My daughter needs a caregiver, someone she can trust, someone who won't flinch when she tries to communicate, someone who'll stand between her and danger without thinking twice. Cross's eyes never left Hannah's face. You've already proven you're that person. I don't know a sign language. You'll learn. I'll hire the best teachers in Chicago. You'll be fluent in 8 weeks. I don't know anything about your world. Good, that ignorance has kept you alive this long. Cross's expression hardened. But understand this, Ms. Westbrook, if you accept, you enter a life that's brutal, dangerous, and unforgiving. People will threaten you to get to me. They'll try to use you. Some will try to kill you. Your association with my family will paint a permanent target on your back. Hannah looked at Lily. The little girl was watching her with enormous dark eyes, hope and fear warring in her expression. This child couldn't speak, couldn't cry for help, had just been slapped by a grown man and abandoned by everyone in this kitchen. Everyone except Hannah. What's her full name? Hannah asked. Lily Rose Cross. Lily Rose. Hannah smiled at the girl. That's beautiful. Lily's hands moved again, quick, urgent patterns. She wants to know if you're scared, Cross translated. Hannah thought about her efficiency apartment with the broken heat, the second job she'd been considering, the crushing weight of surviving day after day with nothing to show for it but exhaustion. She thought about Rick's hand rising to strike a defenseless child. She thought about the moment she'd chosen to intervene, knowing it would cost her everything. I'm scared of disappointing her, Hannah said, looking directly at Lily. I'm scared of being one more person who lets her down. But I'm not scared of trying. I'm not scared of showing up every day and fighting for her. And I'm absolutely not scared of your world, Mr. Cross, because I've been fighting my whole life just to survive. At least this time, I'll be fighting for something that matters. Cross studied her for a long moment. Then he pulled out a business card and handed it to her. My attorney, Patricia Chen. She'll handle the paperwork, employment contract, ND, security clearances. Your salary is $175,000 annually plus housing benefits and protection. Hannah nearly choked. That's what I pay someone who'll take a bullet for my daughter. Cross's voice was matter of fact. You'll live on my property, guest house. You'll be available 24/7. You'll follow my security protocols without question. Non-negotiable. I understand. Do you? Cross stepped closer. Because once you accept this, Ms. Westbrook, there's no going back. You become part of something most people spend their lives running from. You become mine, my employee, my daughter's protector, my responsibility, and I don't forgive mistakes. Ever. Hannah met his eyes without flinching. Then I won't make any. For the first time, Cross looked at her with something approaching respect. We'll see. He adjusted Lily in his arms. One more thing. What? If you ever betray me, if you ever endanger my daughter through action or negligence, I won't fire you. I won't sue you. His voice dropped to a whisper that somehow filled the entire kitchen. I'll erase you. Completely. They won't find enough left to identify. Are we clear? Hannah thought about walking away, about going back to her safe, small life. But Lily was watching her with those enormous eyes, and Hannah saw herself reflected there alone, scared, desperate for someone to choose her. Crystal clear, Hannah said. Cross nodded once. Then he turned and walked out. Lily still cradled against his chest. Hannah stood in the kitchen, surrounded by coworkers who wouldn't meet her eyes next to a manager sobbing over his broken wrist, and realized her entire life had just changed in the space of 10 minutes. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Patricia Chen, Mr. Cross's attorney. Meeting tomorrow, 9 a.m., address attached. Don't be late. And Ms. Westbrook, welcome to the family. Try not to die. Patricia Chen's office was in the Loop 57th floor of a building with security that rivaled Fort Knox. Hannah passed through 3 checkpoints, 2 metal detectors, and a full-body scanner before she even reached the elevator. The attorney herself was mid-40s, sharp-eyed, expensive suit, in an expression that suggested she'd seen everything humanity had to offer and wasn't impressed by any of it. Coffee, Patricia offered, gesturing to a Keurig. Please. They sat at a conference table. Patricia pushed a stack of documents across the polished surface. This is your employment contract. Read every word. Ask questions. I'll answer honestly because Mr. Cross values informed consent. It makes betrayals cleaner. Hannah picked up the first document. That's a cheerful way to start. I don't do cheerful, I do thorough. Patricia leaned back. Let me be clear about what you're signing. This NDA is binding for life. You cannot discuss Mr. Cross, his business, his associates, his properties, or any aspect of his private life with anyone. Ever. Not friends, not family, not law enforcement, without his explicit permission. What if I'm subpoenaed? You invoke attorney-client privilege and call me immediately. I handle it. What if I'm arrested? Same. You say nothing. You wait for me. Mr. Cross has relationships with certain officials who can make problems disappear, but only if you keep your mouth shut. Hannah's coffee suddenly tasted like ashes. Has that happened before? 3 times in my tenure. Twice with Lily's previous caregivers. Once with a driver who got pulled over with... Patricia stopped herself. Let's just say the driver no longer drives. Because he's dead. Because he's in witness protection in Montana with a new identity and a chronic fear of Chicago winters. Patricia's expression didn't change. Mr. Cross doesn't always kill people who betray him. Sometimes he's merciful. That's your definition of mercy. In this world, yes. Patricia tapped the contract. Background checks will be monthly. Your phone will be monitored, all calls, texts, emails. Your living quarters will be subject to random searches. Any romantic relationships must be vetted by security before physical contact occurs. Hannah set down her coffee. You're telling me I need permission to date? I'm telling you that anyone you invite into your personal life becomes a potential security risk to Mr. Cross's daughter. So yes, permission, vetting, background checks, or celibacy, your choice. This is insane. This is the price of $175,000 a year and the best protection money can buy. Patricia slid another document forward. Benefits package, health insurance, the kind that actually covers things. Dental, vision, life insurance policy with a $1 million payout to beneficiaries of your choice. Who would I even name? Patricia's expression softened fractionally. Most people in your position struggle with that question. Mr. Cross suggests a charity, children's hospital, something that matters to you. Hannah thought about the nurses who'd cared for her mother, the ones who'd held Hannah's hand when she couldn't afford to miss another shift, but couldn't bear to leave her mother alone. St. Francis Memorial Children's Wing, Hannah said. That's my beneficiary. Patricia made a note. Done, now the hard part. That wasn't the hard part. That was logistics. This is psychology. Patricia pulled out a folder with Lily's name on it. Lily Rose Cross, 6 years old, nonverbal for 2 years following her mother's death. Trauma-induced selective mutism with no physical cause. She can make sounds, crying, laughing, gasping, but no words, no speech. Doctors say it's psychological, a wall she built to protect herself from more pain. Hannah's chest ached. Her mother died in a car accident. Murdered. Patricia's voice was flat. Made to look like an accident, but it wasn't. Drunk driver ran a red light on Lakeshore Drive. Driver died at the scene. Very convenient. Very clean. Investigation ruled it accidental, but Mr. Cross knows better. He knows who killed her. He knows he dealt with it, personally, permanently. Patricia met Hannah's eyes. That's all you need to know about that situation. Don't ask him details. Don't bring it up. If Lily mentions her mother, listen and comfort. If Mr. Cross mentions her, which is rare, acknowledge and move on. Understand? Then, yes. Lily's therapist is Dr. Sarah Kim. Weekly sessions. You'll drive Lily there and back. You'll sit in the waiting room. You will not discuss what happens in therapy unless Dr. Kim specifically requests your input. Lily's privacy is paramount. Of course. Patricia pulled out another document. School, St. Catherine's Academy for Girls. Private, exclusive. They're aware of Lily's condition and have staff trained in ASL. Her teachers report she's brilliant reading at a 4th grade level, math at 3rd grade art is exceptional. She's also deeply lonely. Hannah's throat tightened. Because the other kids don't know how to communicate with her. Because their parents have forbidden them to play with her. Patricia's voice dripped contempt. They know who her father is. They're terrified. So their children get the message, stay away from Lily Cross. She's dangerous by association. She's 6 years old. She's Ethan Cross's daughter. In this city, that's all that matters. Hannah wanted to hit something, or someone, preferably every parent at St. Catherine's Academy. So she has no friends. She has you now, Patricia said, or she will if you don't screw this up. I won't. Let's hope not. Patricia pushed the entire stack toward Hannah. Sign, initial, date. Once you do, you're committed. No backing out, no second thoughts. You're in for the duration. Hannah picked up the pen. She thought about her apartment, her old life, the safe, predictable misery of knowing exactly what each day would bring. She thought about Lily's silent mouth forming mama over and over, desperate for a mother who would never answer. She signed. The guest house was perfect. Too perfect. Hannah stood in the middle of the living room, hardwood floors, exposed brick furniture that looked like it came from a Pottery Barn catalog and felt like she'd stepped into someone else's life. Ms. Westbrook. She turned to find a man in his 30s standing in the doorway. Military bearing, watchful eyes, gun visible under his jacket. Marcus Webb, head of security. I'll be your primary contact for safety concerns. Nice to meet you. Let's skip the pleasantries. Marcus handed her a new iPhone. Your old phone has been deactivated and destroyed. This one is encrypted, monitored, and restricted to approved contacts. Mr. Cross, his attorney, myself, the main house, and emergency services. That's it. What about Hannah stopped. Never mind. No friends. Marcus's expression didn't change, but something in his eyes suggested understanding. Most people in your position have the same realization. This job isolates you, intentionally. It's for your protection and Lily's. I get it. Do you? Marcus stepped inside, closing the door behind him. Because I need you to really understand what you've signed up for. I've worked for Mr. Cross for 8 years. In that time, I've seen 5 caregivers for Lily. You know how many that lasted more than 3 months? How many? Well, 0. One quit after 2 weeks when she got a threatening letter. One after a month when someone slashed her tires. One made it 6 weeks before a brick came through her car window with a note tied to it. The fourth one, Marcus paused. The fourth one lasted 7 weeks. Then Victor Grant's people grabbed her off the street, held her for 18 hours and threatened to cut off her fingers if she didn't provide information about Lily's schedule. Hannah's blood ran cold. What happened? Mr. Cross got her back, eliminated the threat, paid her $100,000 in severance, and relocated her to Arizona with a new identity. Marcus's voice was clinical. She still has nightmares. Why are you telling me this? Because you need to know what you're up against. Victor Grant runs the North Side. He and Mr. Cross have been at war for 5 years. Grant lost territory, lost money, lost face. He wants revenge. And the fastest way to hurt Ethan Cross is through his daughter. Hannah sat down slowly. How many attempts have there been? On Lily's life, 4. 2 before I was hired, both thwarted. 2 since, one at her school, one at a birthday party. Both neutralized before they got close. Marcus's jaw tightened. But Grant's getting smarter. He knows direct attacks don't work. So he goes after the support system, the caregivers, the drivers, anyone close to Lily who might provide information or access. So I'm a target. The moment you signed that contract, you became a target. Grant will try to flip you, threaten you, hurt you, and if none of that works, he'll kill you and move on to the next caregiver. Hannah processed this. Why did Mr. Cross hire me if it's this dangerous? Because you didn't hesitate. Marcus pulled up a chair sitting across from her. I reviewed the security footage from Giordano's. 17 people in that kitchen. 16 looked away when Rick hit Lily. You didn't. You moved. Instantly. Without calculating odds or consequences. That's the person Lily needs. Someone whose first instinct is to protect her, not to protect themselves. What if my instinct gets me killed? Then Mr. Cross will avenge you, eliminate the threat, and hire someone else. Marcus's bluntness was almost refreshing. You want honesty? Here it is. You're expendable. Lily isn't. If a situation comes down to your life or hers, you're expected to choose hers. Every time. Without hesitation. Hannah thought about this. Really thought about it. Okay, she said finally. Marcus blinked. Okay. I understand the terms. I accept them. Just like that. Just like that. Hannah met his eyes. I've spent 42 years in a world that chews up people like me and spits them out. I've been expendable my entire life to employers who'd replace me in a heartbeat, to a healthcare system that bankrupted my family, to a city that doesn't notice when people like me disappear. At least this time I'm expendable for a reason, for a little girl who deserves better than this world has given her. Something shifted in Marcus's expression. Respect, maybe. All right then, he stood. Tomorrow's 7 a.m. sign language tutor. Her name is Rachel Park. She's worked with Lily since the selective mutism started. She'll teach you ASL intensive 6 to 8 hours daily for the next 6 weeks. You'll be conversational by the end of it. 6 weeks, that's fast. You're motivated. Motivation beats natural talent every time. Marcus headed for the door, then paused. One more thing. Mr. Cross has a rule. No lying, ever, about anything. You make a mistake, own it immediately. You're scared, say so. You're in over your head. Then ask for help. But the moment you lie to him, even a small lie, even for a good reason, you're done. Understood. After Marcus left, Hannah unpacked her meager belongings. It took 20 minutes. Everything she owned fit in 4 boxes and 2 suitcases. Her phone buzzed. Lily would like to know if you're settled. She's very excited to see you tomorrow. EC, Hannah smiled. Tell her I'm settled and I can't wait to see her too. She wants to show you her butterfly collection. She has 247 specimens. Be prepared, I love butterflies. She can show me every single one. A longer pause. She's signing that you're perfect. I'm inclined to agree. Get some rest. Tomorrow changes everything. Hannah looked around her new home, this beautiful, dangerous, impossible new life, and felt something she hadn't felt in years, purpose. Dinner at the main house was like entering a different world. The dining room was an enormous mahogany table that could seat 20 crystal chandelier that probably cost more than Hannah's old car oil paintings on the walls that looked original and expensive. Lily sat at the head of the table in a booster seat, wearing overalls covered in hand-painted butterflies, her hair in 2 lopsided pigtails that made Hannah's heart squeeze. Ethan sat to her right, already cutting her chicken into precise bite-sized pieces. He'd changed from the terrifying suit into dark jeans and a black sweater that somehow made him look even more dangerous, like a panther pretending to be domesticated. Hannah, a woman in her 60s, bustled in from the kitchen carrying a tray of roasted vegetables. I'm Margot, house manager, cook, and general keeper of chaos. Mr. Cross told me you were joining us. I made extra potatoes. Thank you, Margot. Don't thank me yet. Wait until you taste them. Margot set the tray down and swatted affectionately at Ethan's shoulder, a gesture that should have gotten her killed. This one claims I make the best pot roast in Chicago, but he won't admit it in public because it ruins his terrifying reputation. I've never claimed any such thing, Ethan said dryly. You eat 3 helpings every time I make it. That's evidence of hunger, not praise. Liar, Margot winked at Hannah. Don't let him fool you. He's a teddy bear under all that scowling. Lily's hands flew in rapid patterns, her face animated and alive. Hannah watched, trying to pick up any recognizable patterns. The way Lily's hands moved was like watching a dancer, fluid, graceful, expressive, in ways Hannah had never imagined possible. What did she say? Hannah asked. Ethan's mouth twitched. She says Margot is right. She says I'm only scary to bad people. Family is safe. Family, Hannah repeated softly. Lily pointed at Hannah, then signed something else. She's asking if you're family now, Ethan translated. The question landed in Hannah's chest like a bomb. She looked at this little girl, this beautiful, broken, brilliant little girl who couldn't speak but had so much to say, and felt something crack open inside her. I hope so, Hannah said, speaking directly to Lily. I hope I get to be your family. If you'll have me. Ethan signed the words for Lily, his movements slower and more deliberate than his daughter's had been. When he finished, Lily's entire face transformed. She smiled, huge and genuine and absolutely radiant, and signed something short. She says yes, Ethan said quietly. She says you're her family now. It's decided. Margot dabbed at her eyes with her apron. Well, that's settled then. Let's eat before everything gets cold. Dinner was chaotic in the best way. Margot served pot roast that actually was the best Hannah had ever tasted. Lily told elaborate stories with her hands that Ethan patiently translated, adventures at school, a butterfly she'd found that morning, plans for her upcoming 7th birthday party. Hannah watched the interplay between father and daughter and saw something that shattered every assumption she'd had about Ethan Cross. This man, this monster who supposedly ordered executions and ran a criminal empire, was gentle with his daughter, patient, attentive. He corrected her signs when she got too excited and started moving too fast. He wiped sauce from her chin without breaking the flow of conversation. He listened to her like every word she wasn't saying was the most important thing in the world. "Do you miss it?" Ethan asked, suddenly pulling Hannah from her thoughts. "Miss what?" "Your old life, the restaurant, the predictability." Hannah considered this. "No, I miss the people. Some of the regulars were kind. But the life itself, the endless grind for minimum wage plus tips, the never knowing if I'd make rent, no, I don't miss that." "What do you miss?" "Control, I guess. The illusion that I knew what each day would bring. And now I have no idea what's coming," Hannah admitted. "And somehow that's less terrifying than the certainty that nothing would ever change." Ethan studied her. "You're different than I expected." "What did you expect?" "Someone more fragile, someone who'd need to be handled carefully, protected from the truth." "I've been poor, Mr. Cross. I've watched my parents die slowly because we couldn't afford better treatment. I've worked 3 jobs simultaneously just to stay afloat. I'm not fragile. I'm just tired of fighting for nothing." "And now you're fighting for something." Hannah looked at Lily, who was carefully constructing a tower out of her peas. "Yes," she said. "Now I'm fighting for something." After dinner, Lily grabbed Hannah's hand and dragged her upstairs with all the imperious confidence of a 6-year-old on a mission. Her bedroom was an explosion of purple and butterflies. Purple walls, purple bedding, purple curtains, and hundreds of butterfly specimens mounted on boards that covered an entire wall. "Oh, Lily," Hannah breathed. "This is incredible." Lily beamed and pulled out a leather journal, flipping through pages filled with sketches, observations, and notes in careful handwriting. She pointed to an early entry, a crude drawing of a butterfly next to shaky letters spelling Mama. Hannah's vision blurred. "Your mama helped you start this collection." Lily nodded, then turned to a page near the back. There was a single pressed butterfly, more vibrant than all the others, with a note underneath in elegant script. "For my Lily, may you always find beauty and transformation. Love always, Mama." "She must have loved you so much," Hannah whispered. Lily's eyes filled with tears. She clutched the journal to her chest and signed something desperate, urgent. "I know, baby," Hannah said, even though she didn't understand the signs. "I know you miss her. And that's okay. You're allowed to miss her for as long as you need to." The bedroom door opened. Ethan stood there, his expression carefully neutral. "Bedtime, Lily." Lily signed something that made Ethan's jaw tighten. "She wants you to read to her," he told Hannah. "But that's not part of—" "I'd love to," Hannah interrupted. Lily scrambled into bed, grabbing a worn copy of The Secret Garden from her nightstand. Hannah settled into the chair beside the bed and began to read, her voice soft and steady. Halfway through the 2nd chapter, she glanced up. Ethan still stood in the doorway watching. Their eyes met, and Hannah saw something she didn't expect. Vulnerability. This man, this dangerous, powerful, terrifying man, was trusting her with the single most precious thing in his world. Hannah looked back at the book and kept reading. When she finished the chapter, Lily had fallen asleep, one small hand still clutching her mother's journal. Hannah gently tucked the blankets around her and tiptoed to the door. Ethan stepped aside to let her pass, then pulled Lily's door almost closed, leaving it cracked just enough to hear if she called out. They stood in the hallway, silence stretching between them. "Thank you," Ethan said finally, "for making this easy for her. It isn't hard. She's extraordinary." "She is," Ethan's voice was rough. "Her mother died 2 years ago, car accident, drunk driver. Lily hasn't spoken since." Hannah's breath caught. She could speak before. She sang constantly, made up little songs about everything. Had her mother's voice, beautiful, clear, perfect. Ethan's hands curled into fists. "After the accident, she just stopped. Doctors say there's no physical reason. It's trauma. She built a wall to protect herself from more pain, and she won't let anyone tear it down." "I'm so sorry." "Don't be sorry. Be patient. Be consistent. Be someone she can trust not to leave." Ethan's eyes locked on hers. "Because if you hurt her, if you abandon her, betray her, or fail her, I will make you regret every decision that led you to this moment. Are we clear?" He said it quietly, almost gently, but Hannah heard the absolute truth underneath. This man would destroy her if she hurt his daughter. "Clear," she said. "I won't let her down." "See that you don't." Ethan turned toward his own room, then paused. Hannah, yes. She called you family tonight. That's not a word she uses lightly. Her mother's gone. Her grandparents are gone. She has me, Margot, and now you. Don't make her regret adding you to that list. Then he was gone, leaving Hannah alone in the hallway with a promise she intended to keep or die trying. Hannah didn't sleep that night. She lay in her new bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying Ethan's warning over and over. Don't make her regret it. Don't make her regret it. The weight of those words pressed down on her chest like a physical thing. At 5 a.m., she gave up and got out of bed. By 6, she'd showered, dressed, and was standing in her kitchen trying to figure out the expensive espresso machine when someone knocked. She opened the door to find a woman in her late 20s with sharp eyes and a messenger bag slung over her shoulder. Hannah Westbrook, yes. Rachel Park, sign language instructor. We start in 10 minutes. Rachel brushed past her into the house without waiting for an invitation. I hope you're ready to work because we have 6 weeks to make you fluent and I don't accept failure. Hannah blinked. Good morning to you too. We don't have time for pleasantries. Rachel pulled out a tablet and a stack of flashcards. Mr. Cross is paying me triple my usual rate to turn you into someone Lily can actually communicate with. That means 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, total immersion. You'll dream in signs by week 3. That's intense. That's the job. Rachel fixed her with a look that could cut glass. You know why the last caregiver quit after 6 weeks? Threats. She couldn't handle the isolation. Lily tried to tell her something important, that she was scared of a man who'd been watching her at school, but the caregiver didn't understand the signs. Lily gave up trying. 2 days later, that man tried to grab her in the parking lot. Hannah's stomach dropped. What happened? Marcus put 3 bullets in him before he got within 10 feet of her. Rachel's voice was clinical. But Lily had tried to warn her caregiver, tried to ask for help, and the woman didn't understand. So Lily stopped trying to communicate with her entirely. Oh God. Yeah, oh God. Rachel set up her materials on Hannah's kitchen table. So when I say we don't have time for pleasantries, I mean a little girl's life depends on you understanding every word she can't say. We clear, Crystal. Good. Let's begin. The next 8 hours were brutal. Rachel drilled her relentlessly alphabet basic words, common phrases, facial expressions that changed meaning, hand positions that were similar but meant completely different things. Hannah's hands cramped. Her brain felt like it was melting. But every time she wanted to quit, she thought about Lily trying to warn someone who couldn't understand her. Again, Rachel said for the 100th time, show me help. Hannah made the signed fist on top of open palm lifting up. Now danger. Hannah fumbled it. No, watch. Rachel demonstrated. Hand starts here, moves like this. The motion matters. If you do it wrong, you're saying later instead of danger. See the difference? Barely. Then you keep practicing until it's not barely, until it's automatic, until Lily signs danger and your body moves before your brain catches up. Rachel's expression softened fractionally. She's a good kid. She deserves someone who won't miss the warnings. At 2 p.m., Rachel finally called a break. Tomorrow, same time. Wear comfortable clothes. We're adding physical vocabulary, things you'll need to sign while moving, while carrying Lily while under stress. After Rachel left, Hannah collapsed on her couch and stared at her aching hands. Her phone buzzed. Lily asked if you'd like to join her for afternoon tea. She's very formal about her tea parties. EC. Hannah smiled despite her exhaustion. I would be honored. What's the dress code? She suggests, fancy but comfortable. Her words translated. Also be prepared to discuss butterflies extensively. It's her favorite topic. I'll brush up on my butterfly facts. Don't bother. She knows more than most entomologists. Just nod and look impressed. It's what I do. Hannah actually laughed, and realized it was the first genuine laugh she'd had in months. The main house's sunroom had been transformed into a tea party wonderland. Lily had set up her play tea set on a low table, complete with tiny sandwiches that Margot had clearly helped prepare, and cookies shaped like butterflies. Lily wore a purple dress with a tulle skirt and a plastic tiara. When she saw Hannah, her entire face lit up. She signed something quick and enthusiastic. She says you look beautiful, Ethan translated. He was leaning against the doorframe, watching with an expression Hannah couldn't quite read. She's been planning this tea party since breakfast. Then I'm honored to be invited. Hannah knelt beside the table accepting the tiny teacup Lily offered. This is lovely, Lily. Lily beamed and began signing rapidly, her hands flying through complex patterns. Hannah caught maybe one word in 10. She's telling you about the monarch butterfly migration, Ethan said. How they travel 3,000 miles from Canada to Mexico. She finds it remarkable that something so small can be so strong. Hannah watched Lily's animated face, saw the intelligence and passion burning in those dark eyes, and felt something fierce take root in her chest. This child was brilliant, trapped, desperate to be heard. That is remarkable, Hannah said, speaking directly to Lily even though she knew the girl couldn't hear the words properly. Strength isn't about size, it's about determination. Ethan signed the words. Lily nodded vigorously, then signed something else. She says you understand, Ethan translated, his voice softer now. She says not many people do. They had tea. They discussed butterflies. Lily showed Hannah her latest sketches, detailed drawings of wings and antennae that were shockingly good for a 6-year-old. And then Lily's hands stilled. She set down her teacup carefully, her expression changing from joy to something that made Hannah's protective instincts flare. Fear. Lily signed something short, sharp. Ethan's entire body went rigid. When Lily held up fingers, 3 days ago, Ethan's voice had dropped into that dangerous register Hannah recognized from the restaurant. And you're just telling me now, Lily's eyes filled with tears. She signed frantically, her small hands shaking. What's wrong? Hannah asked, alarm bells screaming in her head. A man approached her at school. Ethan's jaw was granite. 3 days ago, asked her questions about me, about where she lives, about who picks her up. Hannah's blood turned to ice. What did she do? She ran to her teacher. The teacher called the school security. By the time they got there, he was gone. Ethan pulled out his phone, already dialing. Marcus, we have a problem. Lily was crying silently now, tears streaming down her face. Hannah moved without thinking, gathering the little girl into her arms. Lily buried her face in Hannah's shoulder, her small body trembling. You did exactly right, Hannah murmured, holding her tight. You ran to a teacher. You got help. You were so brave, baby. So brave. Ethan was barking orders into his phone, his voice sharp and controlled, but Hannah saw the fury burning beneath the surface. Full lockdown. School perimeter first. I want footage from every camera within a 3-block radius. And find out why I'm hearing about this from my daughter, instead of from the security team I pay 6 figures to keep her safe. He hung up and turned to Lily, his expression softening when he saw her in Hannah's arms. Lily. He knelt beside them. I need you to tell me everything. What did he look like? Lily's hands moved slowly now, shaking as she signed. Tall, gray hair, scar on his chin. Ethan's face went white. Jesus Christ. Who is it? Hannah asked. Vincent Moretti, Victor Grant's second in command. Ethan stood pacing like a caged panther. He's sending a message, showing me he can get close to her whenever he wants. They approached a 6-year-old at school. They approached my 6-year-old at her school. Ethan's control was fracturing, rage bleeding through. In front of teachers, in front of witnesses, because they want me to know they don't care about consequences. They want me scared. Are you? Hannah heard herself ask. Ethan looked at her, and for the first time she saw past the Mafia boss to the terrified father underneath. Petrified, he admitted. Every goddamn day. Hannah held Lily tighter. The little girl had stopped crying but hadn't let go. What do we do? Hannah asked. We increased security, tripled the detail at school, armored car for transport, no more playground time with 2 guards minimum. Ethan ran a hand through his hair. And I make it very clear to Victor Grant that touching my daughter means burning his entire operation to the ground. Will that work? It'll escalate things, but they're already escalated. Ethan's phone rang. He glanced at the screen. I have to take this. Can you? I've got her, Hannah said. We're not going anywhere. After Ethan left, Hannah carried Lily to the sunroom window seat and settled with the girl in her lap. I know you're scared, Hannah said quietly, even though Lily couldn't fully hear her. I know this is terrifying, but I promise you, sweetheart, I promise I won't let anyone hurt you. Your daddy won't let anyone hurt you. We're going to keep you safe. Lily pulled back slightly, her small face serious. She signed something. Hannah didn't understand the words, but she understood the question in Lily's eyes. You want to know if I'm going to leave, Hannah guessed. Like the others did? Lily nodded, fresh tears spilling over. No, Hannah said firmly. I'm not leaving. Not when you're scared. Not when things get dangerous. Not ever. You're stuck with me, kid. Lily searched Hannah's face for a long moment. Then she signed something short. Hannah made a mental note to ask Rachel what it meant tomorrow. But when Lily settled against her chest, finally relaxing, Hannah figured it didn't matter. Whatever the little girl had said, Hannah had given the right answer. That night, Marcus appeared at Hannah's door with a lockbox and a grim expression. We need to talk about protocols. Hannah let him in. What kind of protocols? Marcus set the lockbox on her table and opened it. Inside was a handgun. This is a Glock 19, 9mm, 15-round capacity. I need you to learn how to use it. Hannah stared at the weapon like it was a coiled snake. I've never touched a gun in my life. That changes tomorrow, 6 a.m. before your language lesson. I'm teaching you basic firearms safety, how to load, how to shoot, how to maintain it. Marcus's voice left no room for argument. You'll carry it whenever you're with Lily outside the estate. I'm not shooting anyone. Hopefully not. But if Vincent Moretti or anyone else tries to grab Lily while you're with her, you need to be able to protect her until backup arrives. Marcus pulled out a second item, a panic button disguised as a car key fob. This too, you press it, every security team member within 5 miles gets an alert with your exact location. Response time is 90 seconds maximum. Hannah picked up the fob, feeling its weight. This is really happening. Someone actually tried to approach a 6-year-old child to get to her father. This is the world Mr. Cross lives in. The world Lily was born into. Marcus closed the lockbox. And now it's your world too. So tomorrow, 6 a.m., don't be late. After he left, Hannah sat alone in her kitchen, staring at the lockbox. 24 hours ago, her biggest concern had been learning sign language. Now she was being trained to shoot a gun. Her phone buzzed. I apologize for the abruptness of tonight's revelations. This wasn't how I wanted you to learn about the realities of our situation. Iki, Hannah typed back. I knew what I was signing up for. You told me it would be dangerous. Knowing intellectually and experiencing viscerally are different things. You look shaken. I was shaken. I am shaken. Someone approached a little girl at her school and terrified her. That's worth being shaken about. Yet you're still here. Where else would I be? A long pause, then most people would have already called that attorney and demanded an exit clause. You stayed. You comforted Lily. You promised her you wouldn't leave. Why Hannah thought about how to answer that, settled on honesty. Because she needed someone to stay. Because for once in my life, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Because that little girl deserves someone who won't run when things get hard. Another pause longer this time. You're remarkable, Hannah Westbrook. I'm beginning to understand why Lily chose you. She didn't choose me. You hired me. Lily chose you the moment you stepped between her and Rick Thompson. Everything after that was just paperwork. Hannah smiled despite the fear still churning in her gut. Get some rest. Tomorrow is firearms training at 6, followed by 8 hours of sign language torture. You'll need your strength. Good night, Mr. Cross. Ethan. Call me Ethan. We're past formalities now. Hannah stared at that message for a full minute before responding. Good night, Ethan. The firearms training was worse than the sign language. Marcus started with safety, how to hold it, how to check if it was loaded, how to engage and disengage the safety. Then came the shooting range he'd set up in the estate's basement. Stance, feet shoulder width, dominant foot slightly back, both hands on the grip, arms extended but not locked. Hannah tried to mimic his position. The gun felt wrong in her hands, too heavy, too real, too dangerous. Now aim at the target, front sight, rear sight target, all 3 aligned. Marcus, I can't. You can. Breathe, squeeze the trigger slowly. Don't jerk it. Hannah squeezed. The recoil shocked her even though Marcus had warned her. The bang echoed in her ears despite the protection. The target, a paper silhouette 30 feet away, remained untouched. Again. I missed. So aim better. Again. 20 rounds later, Hannah had managed to hit the target exactly 3 times, none of them center mass. You're flinching, Marcus observed. Anticipating the recoil, that's making you jerk the trigger. Because I hate this. I hate everything about this. Good. You should hate it. Guns aren't toys, they're tools for killing. Marcus reloaded her magazine. But loving it or hating it doesn't matter if someone's trying to grab Lily and you're the only thing standing between them and her. What matters is whether you can pull that trigger when it counts. Hannah looked at the gun in her hands, thought about Vincent Moretti approaching Lily at school, thought about the little girl's terrified face as she signed about the man with the scar. Again, she said. This time she hit the target 5 times out of 15. Marcus almost smiled. Better, we'll keep practicing. Sign language practice after that felt like a relief, even though Rachel pushed her just as hard. You're improving, Rachel said during their afternoon break. Faster than I expected, actually. Necessity is a hell of a motivator. That it is. Rachel packed up her materials. Tomorrow we start conversational practice. Short exchanges, questions and answers. By the end of the week, you should be able to have basic interactions with Lily without Mr. Cross translating. That fast. You're immersed. You're motivated, and you're smart enough to pick up patterns quickly. Rachel paused at the door. Also, Lily's been practicing with you. What do you mean? She's been signing slower around you, repeating things multiple times, using simpler vocabulary. Rachel's expression softened. She's teaching you too, because she wants you to understand her. After Rachel left, Hannah sat with that knowledge warming her chest. Lily was teaching her. This brilliant, beautiful little girl was meeting her halfway. That evening, Ethan summoned her to his office. The room was all dark wood and leather walls lined with books that looked read rather than decorative. Ethan sat behind a massive desk reviewing what appeared to be security reports. Hannah, sit. She sat in the chair across from him, noting the tension in his shoulders, the tightness around his eyes. We have a problem, he said without preamble. Another one. Vincent Moretti isn't just watching. He's recruiting. Ethan slid a photograph across the desk. Hannah picked it up. It showed a young woman she didn't recognize, leaving what looked like a coffee shop. Who is this Catherine Wells, Lily's former teacher at St. Catherine's Academy? She quit 2 months ago. Officially, she took a position in California. Ethan's jaw tightened. Unofficially, she's been seen meeting with known associates of Victor Grant. Hannah's stomach sank. She had access to Lily. Daily access for 8 months. She knew Lily's schedule, her routines, her vulnerabilities. Ethan pulled out another photo. This was taken yesterday. Catherine Wells entering a building on the north side owned by Grant's shell company. You think she's giving them information? I think she already gave them information. That's how Moretti knew exactly when and where to approach Lily at school. Catherine told him which playground, which teacher supervises that area, which security gaps exist. Hannah felt sick. So someone Lily trusted betrayed her. Welcome to my world. Everyone's for sale. Everyone has a price. Everyone will betray you if the offer's good enough. Ethan's voice was bitter. I pay Catherine Wells $60,000 a year. Victor Grant probably offered her triple, that plus relocation plus a new identity. What are you going to do? What do you think I'm going to do? Well, Ethan's eyes were cold. She endangered my daughter. She sold information that could have gotten Lily killed. There are consequences for that. Hannah swallowed. You're going to kill her. I'm going to remove a threat to my family. Permanently. She's a teacher, a civilian. She's a traitor who chose money over a child's safety. Ethan stood, moving to the window. Do you know what Grant would do if he got his hands on Lily? He'd torture her. Slowly. And he'd send me video of every moment, every scream, every tear. He'd break her, physically and psychologically, until there was nothing left. And then when he'd extracted every ounce of pain possible, he'd kill her anyway. Hannah's hands were shaking. How do you live with this constant fear? I don't live with it. I eliminate it. Ethan turned to face her. Every threat, every betrayal, every person who even thinks about harming my daughter, I erase them from existence. It's the only way to keep her safe. There has to be another way. There isn't. Not in this world. Ethan's expression softened slightly. I know this disturbs you. I know you want to believe in redemption, second chances, mercy. But mercy got Lily's mother killed. Mercy got 3 of my men tortured to death last year. Mercy is a luxury I can't afford. Hannah stood pacing. I understand protecting Lily. I'd do anything to keep her safe. But murder, there's basic, self-defense, Ethan corrected. Catherine Wells is a weapon pointed at my daughter. I'm disarming that weapon before it fires. And if I can't accept that, then you'll struggle with this job because I'm not going to stop protecting my daughter to make you comfortable. Ethan's voice hardened. You signed a contract. You made a promise to Lily. If you can't handle the reality of what that means, tell me now. I'll pay your severance and relocate you. No hard feelings, but I won't have someone in Lily's life who'll judge me for keeping her alive. Hannah thought about Lily's face when she signed about the man at school. The terror, the trauma. She thought about Vincent Moretti targeting a 6-year-old child. She thought about Catherine Wells, a teacher someone trusted with children selling information that could get one of them killed. I'm not leaving, Hannah said quietly. I don't like it. I don't agree with all your methods, but I understand why you do what you do. And I'm not going to abandon Lily because her father makes hard choices I wish he didn't have to make. Ethan studied her for a long moment. You're going to see things, Hannah, things that will challenge everything you believe about right and wrong. Can you live with that? I've lived with watching my mother die because we couldn't afford treatment. I've lived with knowing that her insurance company chose profit over her life. I've lived with a system that crushes people like me and calls it capitalism. Hannah met his eyes. Your world is violent, but at least it's honest about it. At least you admit what you're doing and why. Something shifted in Ethan's expression, respect maybe, or recognition. Catherine Wells disappears tomorrow night, he said. You'll hear about it on the news. Teacher missing, police investigating. You'll know the truth. Can you live with that knowledge and still look Lily in the eyes? Hannah thought about it, really thought. Yes, she said finally, because when I look at Lily, I'll know she's safe, and that's worth more than my comfort. Ethan nodded slowly. Then we understand each other. As Hannah turned to leave, Ethan's voice stopped her. Hannah, yes. Thank you for staying, for understanding, for... He paused, seeming to struggle with the words. For being someone I can be honest with. I don't have many of those people in my life. Hannah looked back at him, this dangerous, complicated man who loved his daughter enough to become a monster for her. You're welcome, Ethan. That night, Hannah couldn't sleep again. She kept thinking about Catherine Wells, about the choice Ethan was making, about the fact that she'd essentially sanctioned a murder by choosing to stay. Her phone buzzed at 2 a.m. Can't sleep either. No. Thinking about tomorrow. Regrets. Hannah stared at that question for a long time before answering. Not about staying, about what staying means. That's fair. For what it's worth, I wish the world was different. I wish I could protect Lily without becoming what I've become. Do you really? Or is that just what you tell yourself? Another long pause. I don't know anymore. Maybe I've been doing this so long I can't remember who I was before. Maybe this is just who I am now. You're still Lily's father. You still cut her chicken into perfect pieces and translate her butterfly lectures. That's who you are too. Is it enough to be a good father and a terrible person? Hannah's throat tightened. I think you're doing the best you can with impossible choices. I think Lily is loved and protected, and that counts for something. Maybe not everything, but something. You're kinder than I deserve, Hannah Westbrook, and you're more human than you pretend to be, Ethan Cross. Good night, Hannah. Try to sleep. You too. But neither of them did. The news broke 36 hours later. Catherine Wells, 28, a former teacher at St. Catherine's Academy, has been reported missing by her landlord. Police say Wells was last seen leaving her apartment Tuesday evening. Her car was found abandoned near the lakefront. Anyone with information is urged to contact. Hannah turned off the TV. Lily was in the next room working on a butterfly sketch. She had no idea that her former teacher was dead. She had no idea her father had ordered it. She had no idea Hannah knew about it. And Hannah was going to keep it that way. Because that was the price of staying, the price of protecting Lily, the price of being a part of this family. Hannah walked into the next room and settled beside Lily on the floor. The little girl looked up and signed something. Her hands moved slowly, carefully. Hannah recognized the signs. This time Rachel's drilling had paid off. Stay, Lily was asking. You stay. Hannah signed back, her movements awkward, but clear. Yes, I stay. Always. Lily's smile could have lit the entire city. She threw her arms around Hannah's neck and held on like she'd never let go. And Hannah held her back, making a silent promise to this broken, brilliant little girl. Whatever darkness came, whatever choices Ethan made, whatever compromises Hannah had to make with her own conscience, She would stay. She would protect. She would be exactly what Lily needed her to be, even if it cost her everything she thought she was. 3 weeks passed in a blur of sign language firearms training and carefully constructed normalcy that fooled absolutely no one. Hannah could now hold basic conversations with Lily without Ethan translating. She could field strip and reassemble her Glock in under 2 minutes. She'd memorized every security protocol, every evacuation route, every safe room in the estate. She'd also stopped sleeping more than 4 hours a night. "You look like hell," Marcus observed during their morning shooting practice. "Thanks. You really know how to make a girl feel special." Hannah squeezed off 3 rounds, all center mass this time. Her accuracy had improved dramatically when she started imagining Vincent Moretti's face on the targets. "I'm serious. When's the last time you slept a full night?" Hannah lowered the gun. "When's the last time you did?" Marcus's expression answered that question. "Exactly." Hannah ejected the magazine. "We're all running on fumes and adrenaline. It's the job. The job doesn't work if you collapse from exhaustion." "Then I won't collapse." Hannah reloaded. Again. That afternoon, Lily had a meltdown. It started small frustration over a math problem she couldn't solve. But it escalated fast the way things did when a 6-year-old couldn't scream out her frustration, couldn't cry for help, couldn't make the sounds that would release the pressure building inside her. She threw her pencil, then her notebook. Then she swept everything off her desk with one violent motion. Hannah was there in seconds. Hey, it's okay." But Lily wasn't okay. She was signing so fast, her hands blurred, tears streaming down her face, her small body shaking with rage and helplessness. Hannah caught the signs for can't and stupid and broken. "You're not broken," Hannah said firmly, kneeling in front of her. "You're frustrated. There's a difference." Lily's hands kept moving, desperate and furious. "I know you want to scream," Hannah said, signing as she spoke now, her movements getting clearer every day. "I know you want to yell and cry and make noise. I know it feels like you're trapped inside yourself." Lily's signing slowed. She was listening. "But you're not broken, baby. You're healing. And healing doesn't happen on anyone else's timeline. It happens when you're ready." Hannah reached out slowly, giving Lily the choice to accept or refuse the touch. "And until you're ready to talk again, I'm going to keep learning to hear you anyway." Lily crashed into her arms, sobbing silently, her whole body heaving with the effort of crying without sound. Hannah held her and rocked her and whispered things that probably didn't make sense but felt necessary anyway. When Lily finally calmed, she pulled back and signed something slow and deliberate. "Thank you for understanding." Hannah signed back, "Always." That night, Ethan found Hannah in the kitchen at midnight, making tea she didn't intend to drink. "Heard about this afternoon," he said, pouring himself whiskey from the bottle he'd brought with him. "Nirn, she's 6. 6-year-olds have meltdowns. 6-year-olds scream when they have meltdowns. Lily destroys things because she can't." Ethan sat across from her. "Her therapist says it's progress, actually, that she's expressing anger instead of burying it. Doesn't make it easier to watch." "No." Ethan took a drink. "But you handled it perfectly. She came downstairs after and told me, signed to me that you understood. That's the first time she's said that about anyone since her mother died." Hannah wrapped her hands around her mug. "I don't understand, not really. I can't imagine what it's like to be trapped like that." "But you're trying. That's more than most people do." Ethan studied her. "You've changed in 3 weeks. So have you." "How so?" "You smile more, around Lily, around me." Hannah met his eyes. "You're less contained. Is that good or bad?" "I don't know yet." Hannah's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, then froze. Unknown number. But the message made her blood run cold. "Pretty house, pretty girl. Shame if something happened to either." "A friend." Hannah's hand started shaking. Ethan saw her face change. "What is it?" She slid the phone across the table. Ethan read the message. His expression went glacial. "When did this come in?" "Just now." "Marcus," Ethan was already moving phone to his ear. "Full perimeter sweep, now. Someone just sent Hannah a threat." Within 90 seconds, the estate was lit up like a prison yard. Guards swarmed the grounds. Hannah's phone was confiscated for analysis. And Ethan was on a call that involved a lot of shouting and words Hannah had never heard strung together quite that creatively. Marcus appeared with his laptop. "Trace the number. Burner phone activated 2 hours ago in Pilsen." My old neighborhood, Hannah said quietly. They know where you came from. They're showing you they did their homework. Marcus pulled up security footage. But they didn't get onto the property. Cameras show nothing unusual. They don't need to get on the property. Ethan said, his voice deadly calm now. They just need Hannah to know they could. They want her scared. It's working, Hannah admitted. Ethan turned to her. Pack a bag. You and Lily are moving into the main house. Guest room on the 3rd floor. It's more secure. I can't just, yes, you can, and you will. Ethan's tone left no room for argument. They've escalated. That means we escalate. You don't go anywhere without armed escort. You don't drive Lily anywhere without the armored car and 2 chase vehicles. And you absolutely do not sleep in an isolated guest house 50 yards from the main building. Hannah wanted to argue, wanted to insist she could handle it, but her hands were still shaking. Okay, she said, okay. By 1 a.m., Hannah was unpacking in a bedroom that was bigger than her entire old apartment. Lily was asleep down the hall. Marcus was posted outside her door, and Ethan was somewhere in the house orchestrating a response that Hannah suspected would be brutal and permanent. Her new phone buzzed. Marcus had given her a replacement with even more security features. How are you holding up? EC terrified, angry, determined not to let them win. That's a good combination. Terror keeps you alert. Anger keeps you sharp. Determination keeps you alive. Is this what your life is always like? Yes. Every day, every hour, always waiting for the next threat, always preparing for the next attack. How do you not go insane? Who says I haven't? Hannah stared at that message for a long time. Lily grounds you, doesn't she? She's the only thing keeping me human. Without her, I'd be exactly what my enemies think I am, a monster, without conscience or mercy. You're not a monster, Ethan. Ask Catherine Wells. I'd rather ask Lily. And she thinks you hung the moon. Another long pause. Thank you for that. For reminding me who I'm doing this for. Good night, Ethan. Try to sleep. You too. And Hannah, lock your door. Marcus is outside, but lock it anyway. Already done. Good girl. Hannah lay in the darkness, listening to the unfamiliar sounds of the main house settling, and wondered how much longer they could maintain this fragile peace before everything exploded. The answer came 48 hours later. Lily's dance recital. Hannah had argued against going. Too public, too exposed, too dangerous. But Lily had been practicing for months. She'd choreographed her own routine to a classical piece her mother had loved. Missing it would break her heart. So they went. Armored car, 4 guard detail. Marcus personally swept the auditorium twice. Parents were screened at the door. Metal detectors, bag checks, the whole 9 yards. Lily was the 7th performer. She wore a purple leotard with a tulle skirt and her hair in a tight bun. When she took the stage, she looked so small, so vulnerable, so achingly beautiful that Hannah's throat closed up. The music started, Debussy's Clair de Lune. Lily moved like she was made of light and air. Every position was perfect. Every transition was seamless. She danced like she was having a conversation with her mother, telling her everything she couldn't say out loud. Hannah watched from the audience, sitting between Ethan and Marcus, and felt tears streaming down her face. The performance ended. The audience applauded. Lily took her bow, her face radiant with joy. And then the lights went out. Complete darkness. Sudden. Total. Hannah's training kicked in instantly. Her hand went to her weapon. Her body moved to shield the direction where Lily had been standing. Lily! Ethan's voice cut through the chaos. Emergency lights flickered on. Red, dim, barely enough to see. The stage was empty. Lily was gone. Hannah's world tilted. No. Shh. Lockdown, Marcus was shouting into his radio. All exits sealed. Nobody leaves, find her. Ethan was already moving, vaulting onto the stage with lethal grace. Lily, where are you? Hannah's mind raced. The backstage area. That's where the kids had been waiting between performances. She ran, through the side door, down a narrow hallway, into the dressing area where costumes and bags were scattered. And there was Lily, pressed into a corner, a man's hand over her mouth, a knife at her throat. Vincent Moretti smiled at Hannah over Lily's head. Hello, Hannah. Thanks for making this so easy. Hannah's gun was in her hand before conscious thought. Let her go. I don't think so. Moretti's knife pressed harder. Lily's eyes were huge, terrified. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to put down that gun. Then you're going to step aside. then I'm going to walk out of here with this precious little thing and nobody's going to stop me. That's not happening. Then I cut her throat right now, right here, and you get to watch her bleed out. Moretti's voice was conversational. Your choice, Hannah. Make it fast. I'm on a schedule. Hannah's hands were steady now. All the fear, all the doubt, it burned away, leaving only cold, crystalline clarity. You know what I learned in the past 3 weeks? She asked, her voice calm. What's that? Ethan was right. Mercy is a luxury I can't afford. She fired. The shot took Moretti in the shoulder, not lethal, but enough to make his knife hand spasm. The blade clattered to the floor. Hannah fired again. Kneecap this time. Moretti went down screaming. Lily scrambled away from him, running straight to Hannah. Hannah caught her with one arm, gun still trained on Moretti with the other. You bitch! Moretti was trying to reach for the knife. You shot me. Do you have any idea who? The door burst open. Ethan came through like an avenging angel, Marcus right behind him. Ethan took in the scene, Lily safe in Hannah's arms, Moretti bleeding on the floor, Hannah standing over him with her weapon still raised. Everyone out, Ethan said quietly. Now. Marcus herded Hannah and Lily into the hallway. The door closed behind them. Hannah heard a single gunshot, then silence. Marcus looked at Hannah. You did good. I shot a man. You saved Lily. There's a difference. Marcus took Lily gently. Let me take her to the car. You need a minute. After they left, Hannah stood in the hallway, her gun still in her hand, and tried to process what she'd just done. She'd shot someone, twice, without hesitation, without remorse. The door opened. Ethan stepped out, wiping blood from his hands with a handkerchief. Is he, Hannah started, dead? I made it quick. Cleaner that way. Ethan looked at her. You saved her life. I shot him. Yes, you did. And if you hadn't, Lily would be dead or worse right now. Ethan moved closer. How do you feel? Hannah thought about it, really examined her feelings. I don't feel guilty, she said slowly. I thought I would, but I don't. I'd do it again, right now, without hesitation. That's because you understand now what I've been trying to tell you. Ethan's voice was gentle. Sometimes the only way to protect the people you love is to become exactly what you're fighting against. I'm not like you. No, you're better, because you still have a choice. You can walk away from this life. I can't. Ethan pulled out his phone. I'm calling Patricia. You'll need legal protection. Self-defense clear-cut, but we need documentation. What about the body? What body? Ethan's smile was cold. Vincent Moretti left the recital early. Witnesses will confirm. Security footage will show him departing the building. Unfortunately, he was killed in a car accident on his way home. Tragic. Unavoidable. No suspects. Hannah should have been horrified, should have been appalled, but all she felt was relief that Lily was safe. I'm becoming like you, she whispered. No, Ethan said. You're becoming who you need to be to survive in my world. There's a difference. The ride home was silent. Lily sat between Hannah and Ethan in the back of the armored car, her small hand gripping Hannah's with desperate strength. When they reached the estate, Lily refused to let go of Hannah. Bath, pajamas, bed, Ethan said gently, signing as he spoke. Then Hannah will stay with you, I promise. Margot helped with the bath while Hannah changed out of her blood-spattered clothes. When she emerged, Lily was waiting in her purple pajamas, clutching her mother's butterfly journal. They settled into Lily's bed together. Hannah pulled the little girl close. Lily's hands moved slowly in the dim light. You saved me, Hannah signed back. Always. I will always save you. You're not scared. Hannah thought about lying, about being brave for Lily's sake, but Ethan's words echoed, no lying, ever. I'm terrified, every day, but I'm more scared of losing you than I am of anything they could do to me. Lily's eyes filled with tears. She signed something that Hannah had learned from Rachel last week. I love you. Hannah's vision blurred. She signed back, her hands shaking now for an entirely different reason. I love you too, sweetheart. So much. Lily fell asleep in her arms an hour later. Hannah lay there in the dark, holding this precious child, and felt the last pieces of her old self crumble away. She wasn't Hannah Westbrook, the waitress, anymore. She was Hannah Westbrook, the protector, the defender, the woman who'd killed to keep a little girl safe, and she'd do it again without hesitation. Her phone buzzed. Ethan. How is she asleep? Finally, she told me she loves me. She does. She's been signing it to me for days, asking if it was okay to tell you. What did you say? I said you loved her too. Was I right? Hannah looked at Lily's sleeping face, so peaceful now, so trusting. Yes, you were right. Then we're a family. Strange, broken, dangerous, but a family nonetheless. What happens now? Victor Grant will retaliate for Moretti. Let him try. I've been holding back, trying to avoid all-out war. But they came after Lily at her dance recital. They crossed a line that can't be uncrossed. What are you going to do? What I should have done 2 years ago. I'm going to end this, permanently, completely. No mercy, no negotiations, no survivors. When soon, days, not weeks. And Hannah, when it starts, things are going to get worse before they get better. Much worse. I need to know you're ready. Hannah thought about Vincent Moretti's knife at Lily's throat, about the terror in the little girl's eyes, about the cold certainty she'd felt pulling the trigger. I'm ready. We end this. For Lily. For Lily. The war started 3 days later. Hannah woke to the sound of explosions, distant but unmistakable. She grabbed her gun and ran to Lily's room. The little girl was already awake, wide-eyed and terrified. Marcus appeared in the doorway. Basement! Now! Mr. Cross's orders. They ran, Hannah carrying Lily, Marcus clearing the way. The safe room was reinforced concrete buried 20 feet underground. Communications equipment, supplies for 2 weeks, enough weapons to outfit a small army. Ethan was already there on 3 phones, simultaneously coordinating something that sounded like a military operation. Northside Warehouse is gone. Grant's distribution center in Bridgeport is on fire. His accountant just turned himself in to the FBI with enough evidence to bury half the organization. Ethan's voice was cold, clinical, absolutely lethal. Keep hitting them. Every asset, every property, every person on the payroll. I want Victor Grant to wake up tomorrow with nothing left but memories and regrets. Lily was shaking. Hannah held her close, signing reassurances she didn't feel. Safe. We're safe. Your daddy is protecting us. But Lily wasn't stupid. She could feel the vibrations of explosions through the concrete. She could see the controlled fury on her father's face. She signed something that made Hannah's heart break. Is this because of me? Because bad man at recital, no baby. Hannah started signing, but Ethan saw. He ended his calls and knelt in front of his daughter. Yes. He signed brutal honesty replacing comfort. This is because they tried to hurt you. This is because they think you're my weakness. This is me showing them they're wrong. You're not my weakness. You're my strength. And anyone who threatens you learns what happens when you threaten everything I love. Lily's tears started flowing. I know you're scared, Ethan continued, still signing. I know this is terrifying. I know you wish you had a normal father with a normal life. But this is who I am. This is what I do, and I will burn this entire city to the ground before I let anyone hurt you. Do you understand? Lily nodded, crying harder. Ethan pulled her into his arms. I love you more than my own life, more than anything in this world. And I will always, always protect you, no matter what it costs. Hannah watched this man, this monster, this father hold his daughter and promise her safety through violence, and realized she had never seen anything more honest in her life. The basement door burst open. One of Ethan's men stumbled in, bleeding from a shoulder wound. Boss, we have a problem. What kind of problem? Ethan was already moving, settling Lily with Hannah. Grant's people hit the east gate, breached the first perimeter. Marcus is holding them, but gunfire, close, too close. They were inside the estate. Ethan's expression went absolutely feral. How many? 8, maybe 10. They came heavy. Good. Ethan grabbed a tactical vest and started loading magazines. I was hoping Grant would be stupid enough to come here. Saves me the trouble of hunting him down. Ethan, Hannah started. Stay here. Lock the door behind me. Code is 7382. If anyone tries to get in and it's not me or Marcus, shoot first, ask questions never. Ethan kissed Lily's forehead. Daddy will be right back, baby girl. Then he was gone, moving up the stairs with deadly purpose. The door sealed behind him with a heavy metallic clang. Hannah was alone with Lily and a wounded guard in a concrete box while a war raged above them. She'd never been more terrified in her life. Lily's hands moved in the dim emergency lighting. Daddy will win. Right? Hannah signed back with more confidence than she felt. Yes, your daddy always wins. They waited. Minutes felt like hours. The gunfire was constant now, a sustained battle happening somewhere above them. Then silence. Complete, absolute, terrifying silence. Hannah's phone buzzed. It's over. You can come up. EC, are you hurt? Nothing serious. Grant's people are dead. All of them. I'm sending Marcus down to get you. Hannah didn't move until she heard Marcus's voice through the intercom, saw his face on the security camera, watched him enter the code. Clear, Marcus said. But it's not pretty up there. Maybe keep Lily's eyes closed. Hannah picked up Lily, who buried her face in Hannah's shoulder without being asked. The walk through the house was a nightmare. Blood on the walls. Bodies being dragged out by cleanup crews. The smell of gunpowder and death thick in the air. Ethan stood in the main foyer, covered in blood that didn't seem to be his, talking to someone on his phone. Yes, Victor Grant's last play. It failed. Now I want him. I don't care where he's hiding. Find him. Bring him to me. Alive. Ethan's voice promised horrors. I want him to understand exactly what happens when you come into my home and threaten my family. He saw Hannah and Lily, and his expression shifted from monster to father in a heartbeat. Lily, he signed, are you okay? Lily nodded against Hannah's shoulder but didn't look up. Hannah, we're fine, scared but fine. Hannah met his eyes. Lit over. This part is, Grant's in the wind, but he'll surface, they always do. And when he does, Ethan didn't finish. Didn't need to. That night, Lily refused to sleep in her own room. She insisted on staying with Hannah, curled up in her bed, holding her mother's journal like a lifeline. Hannah lay awake, listening to Lily's breathing, feeling the weight of the Glock under her pillow, and wondered how many more nights like this they'd have to survive before this war finally ended. Her phone lit up with a message. Thank you for keeping her safe today, for being exactly what she needed, for becoming family. Hannah typed back with one hand, the other still holding Lily. Where else would I be? This is home now. You're my family now. All of you, the good, the bad, and the absolutely terrifying. I don't deserve you, maybe not, but Lily does, and she's what matters. She is. You both are. Hannah stared at that message, her heart doing something complicated in her chest. Ethan, yes, don't die. She needs you. I need you. Don't do something reckless trying to end this. A long pause. Then, I'll try. But if it comes down to protecting you two or surviving myself, you know what choice I'll make. I know. Just try to make it so we don't have to find out. Deal. Good night, Hannah. Lock your door. Already done. Stay safe, Ethan. You too. Hannah set down her phone and looked at Lily's sleeping face, so peaceful now, so trusting, despite everything she'd witnessed. This little girl had lost her mother, had been traumatized into silence, had survived kidnapping attempts and death threats, and tonight an armed assault on her own home. And she was still the bravest person Hannah had ever known. Hannah pulled her closer and made a silent vow. Whatever came next, whatever horrors Victor Grant had planned, whatever wars Ethan had to fight, whatever prices had to be paid, she would keep this child safe, even if it cost her everything, even if it cost her life. Because that's what family did. And they were family now. Strange, broken, dangerous blood, stained family. But family nonetheless. The call came at 4 a.m. 2 days after the assault on the estate. Hannah jerked awake, her hand automatically going to the gun under her pillow. Lily was still asleep beside her, one small fist curled around Hannah's shirt like she was afraid to let go even in dreams. Her phone was vibrating. Ethan. What's wrong? Hannah whispered. Get Lily. Meet me in my office. Now. His voice was rough, strained. We found Grant. Hannah's pulse spiked. Where? That's the problem. He's at St. Catherine's Academy. He's taken the entire school hostage. The world stopped. How many? Hannah could barely force the words out. 43 students, 12 staff members. He's demanding I come alone or he starts executing children. Ethan's voice cracked slightly. He specifically mentioned Lily. Said if I don't show in 2 hours, she's the first one he kills. But Lily's here. He doesn't know that. He thinks she's still enrolled, thinks she's in that building. Ethan exhaled shakily. But the other children aren't. Their parents are getting calls right now. FBI's mobilizing. And I have a decision to make that's going to define what kind of man I am. Hannah looked at Lily's sleeping face. You're going. If I go, I die. Grant will execute me on camera to prove he can, to show the whole city that Ethan Cross isn't untouchable. And if you don't go, children die, maybe all of them. Grant's already proven he doesn't care about collateral damage. Ethan's voice turned bitter. He's put me in checkmate. Either I sacrifice myself or I become the man responsible for a school massacre. There has to be another way. If there is, I haven't found it. And I've been looking for 2 hours while you slept. Hannah's mind raced. The FBI will take too long. Grant has the building wired with explosives. He showed them on camera. One wrong move and the whole place goes up. Ethan paused. I need you to do something for me, Hummy. Anything. If I don't make it back, if this goes the way I think it will, I need you to take Lily and run. Patricia has documents ready. New identities, money in offshore accounts, everything you need to disappear. Ethan, no. Promise me, Hannah. Promise me you'll keep her safe, that you'll raise her, that you'll tell her I loved her more than life itself. Tears were streaming down Hannah's face now. You can't ask me to do this. I'm not asking. I'm begging. Ethan's voice broke completely. She's already lost her mother. If she loses me too, she'll need you more than ever. Promise me you'll be there. Hannah looked at Lily, this beautiful, broken, brilliant little girl who'd already survived so much. I promise, she whispered. But you're coming back. You hear me? You're going to find a way out of this because she needs her father. I love you, Hannah. The words fell between them like bombs. I should have said it sooner, should have been honest about how I feel, but I'm saying it now. I love you. And I love my daughter. And I'm sorry I couldn't give you both the life you deserved. The line went dead. Hannah sat frozen, phone in her hand, Ethan's words echoing in her head. He loved her. And he was going to die. No, absolutely not. She hadn't survived this long, hadn't fought this hard, hadn't become someone she barely recognized just to lose him now. Hannah gently extracted herself from Lily's grip and ran downstairs. Ethan was in his office, surrounded by monitors, showing live feeds from St. Catherine's Academy. News helicopters circled the building. SWAT teams were setting up perimeters. Parents stood behind police barriers screaming for their children. And on the main screen, Victor Grant stood in the school cafeteria surrounded by terrified children holding a detonator. 1 hour, 45 minutes cross, Grant shouted at the camera. Then I start making examples. Ethan stood at his desk loading weapons with mechanical precision. You're not going alone, Hannah said. Ethan didn't turn around. Yes, I am. Then I'm going with you. No. Ethan, no. He spun to face her, and Hannah saw something in his eyes she'd never seen before. Pure, undiluted terror. I can't protect you there. I can't guarantee your safety. And I will not have Lily lose both of us in one day. What if I have a plan? There is no plan. This is a suicide mission. Grant knows it. I know it. The FBI knows it. I walk in there, I die. But maybe if I can stall him long enough, they can get those kids out. Or, Hannah said slowly, her mind working furiously, we give Grant what he actually wants, which is not you, me. Ethan's expression went blank. Explain. Grant doesn't just want you dead. He wants you broken, destroyed, humiliated. Hannah moved closer. Killing you makes you a martyr. But killing me, the woman you love, the woman protecting your daughter, that makes you suffer. That's real revenge. Absolutely not. Listen to me. Hannah grabbed his arm. What if I go in there? What if I offer myself as a trade me for the kids? Grant gets his revenge through me. You get the children to safety. FBI gets time to breach. And you die. Maybe not. I've gotten pretty good with a gun lately. Hannah met his eyes. And I'm betting Grant's arrogance will make him sloppy. He'll want to gloat, to make me watch him call you and tell you he's won. That's when I strike. This is insane. This whole situation is insane, but it might work. Hannah pulled out her phone. And I'm not asking permission. She dialed the number Grant had used to contact the FBI. It rang twice. Well, Grant's voice was oily amused. Hannah Westbrook, heard you've been playing bodyguard. How's that working out? I want to make a trade. I'm listening. Me for the kids. All of them. You let them walk out, I walk in. Grant laughed. Why would I do that? Because killing children makes you a monster. Killing me makes you a legend. The woman who saved Ethan Cross's daughter, the woman he loves. Think about it, Grant. You don't just beat him, you destroy him. And I'm betting that's worth more than 43 kids who can't fight back. The silence stretched. You're actually serious, Grant said finally. Dead serious. You have my word. I walk in unarmed. You let the kids go. Then you do whatever you want with me. Hannah, hang up right now, Ethan hissed. She ignored him. One condition, Grant said. Cross watches. I set up a live feed. He gets to see everything I do to you. Every single thing. Hannah's stomach turned, but she kept her voice steady. Deal. St. Catherine's front entrance. 30 minutes. You're late, a kid dies every 60 seconds. Grant hung up. Ethan grabbed the phone from her hand and threw it across the room. It shattered against the wall. What did you just do? I bought time, and maybe if I'm lucky and good enough, I bought a chance. Hannah turned to face him fully. You need to promise me something now. You're not going. Promise me that if this goes wrong, if Grant kills me, you won't retaliate against the kids. You won't become the monster he thinks you are. You'll take Lily and you'll give her the life her mother wanted for her. A good life, a safe life. Ethan's hands were shaking. I can't lose you. You don't have me to lose. I'm not yours. I'm Lily's. And this is me being hers. This is me keeping my promise to protect her by protecting 43 other children. Hannah stepped closer. You said you love me. If that's true, you'll let me do this. If it's true, I can't let you walk into certain death. Then you better make damn sure it's not certain. Hannah pulled him down and kissed him hard, desperate final. Get me a wire, get me backup, get me an exit strategy, but let me do this. Ethan pulled back, searching her face. You're not trained for this. I shot Vincent Moretti twice and saved your daughter. I think I can handle Victor Grant. Hannah's voice turned fierce. Besides, he's expecting a scared waitress. He has no idea what I've become. Marcus appeared in the doorway. Boss, we've got 28 minutes. Ethan closed his eyes. When he opened them again, the decision was made. Wire her. Light body armor under her clothes. Backup team staged a block away. Sniper positions on surrounding buildings. His voice was pure command now. And Marcus, if she dies in there, you burn that building to the ground with Grant inside. Understood? Understood. The next 20 minutes were a blur of preparation. Marcus fitted her with a wire so small it was nearly invisible. A vest that was thin enough to hide under her sweater but could sew out most handgun rounds. A backup weapon strapped to her ankle. Remember, Marcus said as they drove toward the school in an unmarked van. Grant's arrogant. Use that. Get him talking. Make him think he's won. The more he gloats, the more time we have to position. And if he just shoots me immediately, then Ethan will do exactly what he promised. Burn it all down. Marcus looked at her. For what it's worth, you're either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. I haven't decided which. Can it be both? Marcus almost smiled. Yeah, I guess it can. They stopped 2 blocks from the school. Hannah could see the police barriers of the news cameras, the FBI command center. Ethan was waiting. He pulled her aside away from the others. Last chance, he said. We can find another way. There is no other way. You know it. I know it. Hannah touched his face. Tell Lily I love her. Tell her I'm being brave. Tell her, her voice broke. Tell her I'd do this 1,000 times over to keep her safe. Tell her yourself when you get out of there. Ethan kissed her forehead. Because you're getting out. That's an order. Since when do I follow your orders? Since I fell in love with you and realized you're the most stubborn, reckless, extraordinary woman I've ever met. Ethan's thumb traced her cheekbone. Come back to me, Hannah. Come back to us. I'll try. Don't try, do. Hannah walked toward the school, her heart hammering so hard she thought everyone could hear it. The front entrance loomed ahead. Through the glass doors, she could see Grant waiting, a gun in one hand, the detonator in the other. Grant's expression turned murderous. You think I'm an idiot? He ripped the wire off, crushing it under his boot. What else? Show me everything. Hannah removed the vest, the ankle gun, her phone, everything. Better. Grant shoved the little girl toward the other children. Now here's what's going to happen. You're going to call Cross. You're going to tell him to watch his email, and you're going to beg him to save you. Nicely, convincingly. Grant forced Hannah's phone into her hand. She dialed with shaking fingers. Ethan answered on the first ring. Hannah, he wants you to check your email, Hannah said, hating the tremor in her voice. He's sending you something. I'm watching. I'm right here. Hold on. Ethan, Hannah's voice broke. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for everything. Don't you dare say goodbye to me. Don't you dare. Grant grabbed the phone. Enjoy the show, Cross. He hung up and turned to his laptop. And now for my audience. He hit a button. A live stream started. Hannah could see herself on the screen, Grant behind her children crying in the background. The view counter started climbing. Hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands. Chicago, Grant announced to the camera. Meet Hannah Westbrook, the woman stupid enough to love Ethan Cross. Watch what happens to people who make that mistake. He grabbed Hannah's hair, yanking her head back. And then something unexpected happened. One of the children moved. A boy, maybe 10 years old with dark eyes that looked familiar. He stood up slowly. Let her go, the boy said. Grant blinked. Sit down, kid. No, Ace. The boy took a step forward. You want to hurt someone? Hurt me. Leave her alone. Brave little bastard. Grant swung his gun toward the boy. Guess you die first then. No! Hannah threw herself forward, knocking Grant's aim off. The gun went off. The bullet hit the ceiling. Plaster rained down. And then everything erupted into chaos. Children scattered, adults screamed, and Hannah tackled Grant with every ounce of strength she had. They hit the ground hard. Grant was stronger, bigger, but Hannah was desperate. She clawed at his face, going for his eyes. Grant roared and threw her off. She crashed into a table, pain exploding through her ribs. You stupid bitch! Grant aimed at her center mass. Should have killed you quick. Now I'm taking my time. A shot rang out. Grant's hand exploded. The gun clattered away. He screamed, clutching the bloody mess. Hannah looked up. The 10-year-old boy was holding her ankle gun, his small hand steady. I said, leave her alone, the boy repeated. The front doors burst open. FBI poured in. Marcus was first through his weapon trained on Grant. Down, get down now. Grant lunged for the detonator on the table. Hannah was closer. She grabbed it first, hurling it across the room. Marcus put 3 rounds in Grant's chest before he could move. Victor Grant collapsed, blood spreading across the cafeteria floor. His eyes found Hannah's shock and disbelief written across his dying face. You were just a waitress, he gasped. I was, Hannah said quietly, but that little girl you tried to hurt, she taught me to be something more. Grant's eyes went glassy, empty, dead. Hannah fell to her knees, adrenaline crashing out of her system. The boy with the gun was shaking now, the weapon dangling from his small hand. Marcus carefully took the gun. You did good, kid. Real good. What's your name? Michael, the boy whispered. Michael Cross. Hannah's head snapped up. Cross. My dad was Ethan's cousin. He died last year. Michael's eyes filled with tears. He told me before he died that if I ever needed help, I should find Uncle Ethan. That he protects family. Hannah pulled the boy into her arms. He collapsed against her, sobbing. You protected me, she murmured. You saved my life. You saved all of us, Michael said. You came in here knowing he might kill you. That's what heroes do. The EMTs descended. Someone was checking Hannah for injuries. Someone else was leading children out to waiting parents. The FBI was securing the scene, and then Ethan was there. He crashed through the perimeter like a force of nature, ignoring everyone trying to stop him. When he reached Hannah, he dropped to his knees and pulled her against him so hard she couldn't breathe. I thought I lost you, he said into her hair. I thought when the video cut out, I thought, I'm okay. I'm alive. We're all alive. Hannah pulled back to look at him. Ethan, this is Michael, your cousin's son. He saved me. Ethan looked at the boy with recognition and something that might have been grief. Tom's boy. Michael nodded. You look just like him, Ethan said softly. He was a good man, better than me. He said you were the best man he knew, Michael said. He said you protected people who couldn't protect themselves. Ethan's jaw tightened. Where have you been living since Tom died? Foster care. They split me and my sister up. She's in Indiana. I'm here. Michael's voice was small. I didn't know how to find you until I saw the news. Saw St. Catherine's. I knew you'd come. So I got on a bus and went to school early, and then he gestured at the nightmare around them. Ethan looked at Hannah. She saw the question in his eyes. Yes, she said before he could ask. Whatever you're thinking, yes. Ethan turned back to Michael. How would you feel about coming to live with me, with us? Me, Hannah, and my daughter, Lily. Michael's eyes went wide. Really? Really? Family takes care of family. That's what Tom believed. It's what I believe too. Ethan held out his hand. What do you say? Michael took his hand, tears streaming down his face. Yes, please. Yes. The ride back to the estate was quiet. Michael sat between Hannah and Ethan, shell-shocked, but safe. Marcus drove occasionally, glancing in the rearview mirror with an expression that might have been approval. Lily's going to love you, Hannah told Michael. She's been wanting a sibling for years. She can't talk, Ethan added. She communicates through sign language. We'll teach you. Okay, Michael said quietly. Then is it always like this? Being part of your family? Sometimes, Ethan admitted. Sometimes it's dangerous and terrifying, and you wish you lived somewhere normal. But we protect each other, Hannah finished. No matter what. That's what family means to us. Michael nodded slowly. My dad used to say that. He said family was worth dying for. And worth living for, Ethan said. That's the part people forget. It's easy to die for someone. It's harder to live for them. To get up every day and choose them. To be better because of them. When they reached the estate, Lily was waiting at the door with Margot. She'd been crying. Marcus had kept her updated. When she saw Hannah, she ran. Hannah caught her, holding tight. Lily's hands moved frantically against her shoulders. You're alive. You came back. You promised, and you came back. I promised, Hannah, signing back. I always keep my promises to you. Lily pulled back and noticed Michael, her head tilted, curious. Ethan knelt beside her. Lily, this is your cousin Michael. He's going to live with us now. He's family. Lily studied Michael for a long moment. Then her hands moved. Michael looked at Ethan. What did she say? She asked if you're brave, Ethan translated. She wants to know if you're the kind of person who protects people or the kind who runs away. Michael looked at Lily seriously. I'm the kind who protects, even when I'm scared, especially when I'm scared. Lily smiled. She took his hand and started pulling him toward the house, signing rapidly. She's showing him her butterfly collection, Ethan said, watching them go. He's doomed. It'll take hours. Hannah laughed, actually laughed, and felt something break loose in her chest. They'd survived. All of them. Against impossible odds. Ethan turned to her, his expression shifting to something vulnerable. What I said earlier, on the phone, I meant it. I know. Do you? He stopped, seeming to struggle with words. Can you? Hannah kissed him, cutting off his uncertainty with certainty of her own. I love you too, she said when they finally broke apart. I've loved you for weeks. Maybe since that first night when you broke Rick's wrist defending Lily. Maybe since you offered me this job. I don't know when it started, but I know it's real. This isn't a normal life, Ethan warned. There will be more threats, more danger, more nights like tonight. I know, and I'm staying anyway. Hannah touched his face. Because this is where I belong. With you, with Lily, with Michael, with this strange, dangerous, beautiful family we're building. Ethan pulled her close and they stood there in the fading light, holding each other like lifelines. Inside the house, they could hear Lily's excited signing and Michael's quiet questions and Margot's laughter as she promised to make everyone's favorite dinner. It sounded like home. It sounded like family. It sounded like the future Hannah never knew she wanted until she found it. Later that night, after Michael had been settled in a guest room and Lily had finally fallen asleep, Hannah stood at her bedroom window watching the grounds. Ethan found her there. Can't sleep. Too wired. Hannah shook her head. I killed someone today, again. And I keep waiting to feel guilty. But all I feel is relief that it's over. It's not over, Ethan said quietly. Grant had allies, associates, people who want revenge. I know, but it's over for today. And maybe that's enough. Hannah turned to face him. We saved 43 kids. We brought Michael home. We survived. That counts for something. It counts for everything. Ethan moved closer. I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest. Always. Do you regret it? Any of it, defending Lily that first day, taking this job, becoming part of this world. Hannah thought about her old life, the endless grind, the loneliness, the feeling that she was just surviving, not living. She thought about Lily's smile, Michael's brave eyes, Ethan's fierce protection, the family she'd found in the most unlikely place. Not for a second, she said. This is exactly where I'm supposed to be. Ethan kissed her, then slow and deep and full of promise. Move in with me, he said against her lips. Officially, not the guest room, my bed, my life. What about Lily? She'll be thrilled. She's been asking when you're going to marry me. Ethan smiled at Hannah's expression. Her words, signed to me last week. She said you already feel like her mom, so when are we making it official? Hannah's vision blurred. She said that, she did. So what do you say, Hannah Westbrook? Will you take a chance on this broken, dangerous family? Will you build something beautiful with us out of all this darkness? Hannah looked into his eyes. This man who'd killed to protect his daughter, who'd offered her a job when she needed saving, who'd become her whole world without her quite realizing when it happened. Yes, she said, to all of it. Yes. Somewhere in the house, Lily was dreaming of butterflies and new beginnings. Michael was sleeping safely for the first time in months. Margot was already planning breakfast and worrying about growing boys and expanding families. And Hannah stood in Ethan's arms, finally understanding what it meant to be home. Not a place, not a building, but people. These people. Her family. And she'd protect them with everything she had until her dying breath. Because that's what love meant in this world. Not pretty words or easy promises, but showing up, fighting back, choosing each other every single day, and Hannah was ready for all of it. 3 months later, Hannah woke to sunlight streaming through unfamiliar windows and Lily's small hand shaking her shoulder. She opened her eyes to find the little girl signing urgently, her face pale. Bad dream. About the school, about Grant. Hannah sat up immediately, pulling Lily into her arms. I've got you, baby. You're safe. He's gone. He can't hurt you anymore. But Lily was shaking, tears streaming down her face. Her hands moved against Hannah's chest. What if someone else comes? What if they take you? Take Daddy, take Michael, then we fight. Hannah seemed back, her movements steady and sure now after months of intensive practice. Together, like we always do. Ethan appeared in the doorway, already dressed despite the early hour. Nightmares again. Hannah nodded. 3rd time this week. Ethan came to the bed, settling beside them. He signed to Lily, his hands gentle. Dr. Kim says this is normal. That trauma takes time to heal. But you're getting stronger every day, sweetheart. I don't feel stronger. I feel scared all the time. Being scared and being strong aren't at opposites, Ethan signed. Sometimes being strong means admitting you're scared and asking for help anyway. Lily buried her face in Hannah's shoulder, her small body still trembling. Want to sleep with us tonight? Hannah asked, signing as she spoke. Lily nodded gratefully. They resettled in bed, Lily between them, safe and protected. Within minutes, she was asleep again. Ethan reached across his daughter to take Hannah's hand. She's getting worse, not better. The therapist warned us. 3 months is when the adrenaline wears off and reality sets in. Hannah stroked Lily's hair. She's processing everything that happened, the kidnapping attempt, the school siege, all of it. I should have protected her better. You protected her perfectly. She's alive. She's loved. She's safe. Hannah met his eyes. Stop blaming yourself for things you couldn't control. I brought this life to her. If I'd been someone else, done something else, then you wouldn't be the man who taught me what it means to fight for family. And Lily wouldn't have the father who loves her enough to burn the world down to keep her safe. Hannah's voice was fierce. Stop wishing for a different past. We can't change it. We can only shape the future. Before Ethan could respond, an alarm blared through the house. They were both moving instantly, Ethan grabbing his weapon, Hannah doing the same. Lily jerked awake, terror flooding her face. Marcus's voice crackled through the intercom. Perimeter breach, east gate, armed intruders, 3, maybe 4. Safe room, Ethan ordered. Now. But before they could move, Michael burst into the room, his face white with horror. Someone's trying to get in. I heard them on the roof. The lights went out. Complete darkness. Then Hannah heard it, glass breaking. Downstairs, multiple points of entry. They're already inside, she whispered. Ethan's hand found hers in the darkness. North staircase. Service exit. Move. They ran Ethan leading Hannah carrying Lily Michael right behind them. Emergency lights flickered on, casting everything in blood-red shadows. A figure appeared at the top of the main staircase. Ethan fired twice. The figure went down. Keep moving. They made it to the service stairs, started descending, almost to the first floor, and then someone grabbed Michael from behind. The boy screamed actual sound, raw terror as hands dragged him backward into the darkness. Michael! Hannah spun, passing Lily to Ethan. Get her out. Go. Hannah, I said go. I'm getting him back. Hannah ran toward where Michael had disappeared, her weapon raised. She heard struggling, heard Michael fighting back the way she'd taught him. She rounded a corner and found them a man twice her size with Michael in a chokehold, dragging him toward a broken window. Let him go, Hannah said, her voice deadly calm. The man laughed. Make me waitress. Hannah shot him in the kneecap. He went down screaming. Michael scrambled away, gasping for air. You good? Hannah asked, not taking her eyes off the downed man. Yeah, I'm good. Then run. Find your uncle, now. Michael ran. Hannah approached the man, her gun trained on his head. Who sent you? Go to hell. Been there, didn't like it. Who sent you? Victor Grant's brother. Carlo. He says hello. The man's smile was bloody. And he says you took something that belongs to his family. Now he's taking something that belongs to yours. Hannah's blood turned to ice. Lily! She ran, back through the house, down the service stairs, to the garage where Ethan would have taken Lily to escape. But the armored car was still there. The door was open. And Ethan was on the ground, blood pooling beneath him. No! Hannah dropped beside him, her hands going to the wound in his side. No, stay with me. They took her, Ethan gasped. 3 men. Came out of nowhere. I killed 2, but the third, he had a taser. I couldn't. Hannah, they took my daughter. How long ago? 2 minutes, maybe 3. Hannah's mind raced. They can't have gotten far. The gates are locked. Marcus has the perimeter sealed. Unless they had help inside. Ethan tried to sit up, groaning. Someone opened those gates. Someone let them in. Marcus burst into the garage, his expression thunderous. Boss, we've got a problem. Our new hire, Stevens, the guard we brought on last month, he's gone and the east gate's wide open. Traitor, Ethan hissed. Carlo planted him, played the long game. Where would they take her? Hannah demanded. Where's Carlo's base? North Side, warehouse district. But it's fortified. 30 men minimum. Going in there is suicide. I don't care. Hannah stood checking her weapon. I'm getting her back. Not alone, you're not. Ethan struggled to his feet despite the blood loss. That's my daughter. You can barely stand. I can stand well enough to put bullets in everyone who touched her. Ethan's eyes were black fire. And if you think I'm staying behind while my daughter's in danger, you don't know me at all. Marcus stepped between them. You're both going to get yourselves killed. Let me mobilize the team. We do this smart, strategic. We don't have time, Hannah's voice cracked. Every second we wait is another second she's terrified and alone, and she couldn't finish. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. A video file. Hannah's hands shook as she opened it. Lily, in a dark room, tied to a chair, crying silently, her mouth forming words no one could hear. And Carlo Grant's voice in the background. Hello, Cross. Remember me? You killed my brother. Took everything from him. From our family. Now I return the favor. The camera moved closer to Lily. Her eyes were wide with terror, tears streaming down her face. You have 2 hours to bring me Hannah Westbrook. Alive. Unharmed. Or your daughter dies. Slowly. Painfully. And I send you videos of every moment. Carlo's face filled the screen now. Don't bother trying to find us. Don't bother calling the FBI. The moment I see cops, I kill her. The moment I see your men, I kill her. You bring me the woman who killed my brother, or you lose your daughter. Your choice, Cross. The video ended. Hannah looked at Ethan. He wants me. No. It's not negotiable. I'm going. The hell you are. Ethan grabbed her arm. He'll kill you. You walk in there, you're dead. And if I don't, Lily's dead. So the choice is pretty clear. Hannah pulled free. I'm trading my life for hers. That's what mothers do. You're not her mother." The words hung between them like broken glass. Hannah flinched. "You're right, I'm not, but I love her like I am, and I will die for her like I am. So unless you've got a better plan in the next 30 seconds, I'm going." Ethan's face crumpled. "I can't lose you both. I can't. Hannah, please. You won't lose both. You'll save one." Hannah cupped his face. "Listen to me. Carlo wants revenge. He wants to hurt you by killing me. That's his whole plan. So we use that." "How?" "I go in wearing a wire. You track me. I stall him, get him talking, get him focused on me. You breach. You get Lily out. And maybe if we're lucky, you get me out too." "That's not a plan. That's a prayer." "Then pray." Hannah turned to Marcus. "Wire me up and get me a tracker he won't find." 15 minutes later, Hannah was in an unmarked van heading toward the north side. Marcus was driving. Ethan was in the back, pale from blood loss, but conscious through sheer will. "Surgical pellet tracker in your shoulder," Marcus explained. "Looks like a freckle. Can't be detected without an x-ray. We'll know exactly where you are at all times. And the wire, in your bra. He'll probably search you, but men like Carlo don't usually check there thoroughly. They're too busy gloating. And if he does find it..." Marcus and Ethan exchanged glances. "Then we breach early and hope for the best," Ethan said quietly. Hannah nodded. Okay, I can do this." "Hannah," Ethan moved closer. "If this goes wrong, if he kills you before we can get to you, I need you to know that you changed everything. You saved my daughter. You saved me. You made me remember what it means to be human." "Don't," Hannah's voice broke. "Don't say goodbye. I'm coming back. We're all coming back. Promise me something. Anything. If you get a chance to run, if you can escape and save yourself, take it. Don't die trying to be a hero." "I'm not trying to be a hero. I'm trying to be Lily's mother." Hannah kissed him hard, and mothers don't abandon their children. Ever. The warehouse loomed ahead, massive, dark, forbidding. Hannah stepped out of the van, alone, hands raised. "I'm here," she called. "I'm unarmed. I'm Hannah Westbrook. I'm who you want." The warehouse door opened. A man gestured her forward. Hannah walked into the darkness, every instinct screaming at her to run. Inside, industrial lights flickered on, harsh and blinding. Carlo Grant stood in the center of the space. He looked like his brother, same cruel eyes, same arrogant smile. And behind him, Lily sat tied to a chair, her face streaked with tears. "Hannah Westbrook." Carlo circled her slowly. "The waitress who became a killer. Fascinating transformation. I'm here. Let her go." "Oh, we'll get to that. First, I want to understand." Carlo stopped in front of her. "What was it like shooting my brother?" "Necessary. Just necessary, not satisfying, not thrilling. He had a knife to a 6-year-old's throat. I did what had to be done." "And Vincent Moretti?" "Same, he was going to kill Lily. I stopped him." Carlo's hands shot out, grabbing her throat. "You stopped him. You murdered him. You took my family's second in command and put bullets in him." Hannah didn't flinch. "Yes, I did, and I'd do it again." Carlo's grip tightened. "I could kill you right now. Snap your neck. Send Ethan Cross a video of your corpse. You could," Hannah gasped, "but then you'd lose your leverage. You'd lose the one thing that gives you power over him." Carlo released her, shoving her backward. "Smart. Smarter than my brother gave you credit for." Hannah coughed, her throat burning. "Your brother underestimated me. Don't make the same mistake." "Is that a threat?" "It's a fact." Carlo laughed. "I like you. I see why Cross kept you around. You've got spine." He pulled out a knife. "Shame I have to cut it out of you." "Wait," Hannah's mind raced. "You want Cross to suffer, right? You want him to feel the same pain he gave you." "Obviously. Then killing me quickly doesn't achieve that. He needs to watch me die slowly. He needs to feel helpless, powerless." Hannah forced herself to meet Carlo's eyes. "But first, let the girl go. She's 6 years old. She's not part of this. She's his daughter. She's absolutely part of this. She can't speak, can't tell anyone what happened here, can't identify you or your men." Hannah's voice turned persuasive. "Let her go. Keep me. You still get your revenge, but you don't have the blood of a child on your hands." Carlo considered this. "You care about her that much. I love her that much. even though she's not yours, especially because she's not mine. I chose her. I chose this family, and I'd die 1,000 deaths to keep her safe. Something shifted in Carlo's expression. My brother had a daughter. Did you know that? Hannah's stomach sank. No. She was 8. Victor loved her more than life itself. Carlo's voice turned bitter. And when Ethan Cross went to war with us, she got caught in the crossfire. Bullet meant for Victor hit her instead. She died in his arms. Hannah's throat closed. I didn't know. That's why he wanted Lily, not for leverage, for justice, an eye for an eye, a daughter for a daughter. Carlo moved closer to Lily. So no, I won't let her go, because this is about balance, about making things even. She's innocent. So was my niece. Carlo's control shattered. She was 8 years old. She liked butterflies and books and stupid princess movies. And Cross's war killed her. Hannah's mind reeled. Did Ethan know about your niece? He knew. He sent flowers to the funeral. Like that makes it better. Like we're supposed to forgive him because he felt bad about murdering a child. I'm sorry, Hannah meant it. I'm so sorry for your loss, for your family's pain. But Lily didn't cause that. She's just a little girl who's already lost her mother. Don't make her lose her life too. Why not Ethan took ours? Because you're not him. Hannah took a step closer. You're not Ethan Cross. You don't kill children to make points. You're better than that. I can see it in your eyes you don't want to do this. Carlo's knife hand wavered, and then his phone rang. He answered, his expression darkening as he listened. What, when, how many? He hung up and looked at Hannah with murder in his eyes. Cross just hit 3 of my locations, killed 15 of my men, burned my warehouses to the ground. His smile was terrifying. Looks like negotiation time is over. He lunged toward Lily, knife raised. Hannah moved without thinking. She threw herself between Carlo and Lily, taking the knife meant for the little girl straight through her shoulder. Pain exploded, white hot, blinding. But Hannah grabbed Carlo's wrist, holding the knife in her own shoulder to keep him from pulling it out and using it on Lily. Run, Hannah screamed. Lily, run! But Lily couldn't run. She was still tied to the chair. Carlo yanked the knife out of Hannah's shoulder. She collapsed, blood pouring from the wound. And then the warehouse doors exploded inward. Ethan came through like vengeance incarnate, his team behind him. Gunfire erupted. Carlo's men went down. Michael appeared from somewhere. The boy had somehow followed them, had somehow gotten inside, and he was cutting Lily free with shaking hands. Carlo grabbed Hannah, hauling her up as a human shield knife to her throat. One more step and she dies, Carlo shouted. Ethan froze. His gun was trained on Carlo's head, but the angle was wrong. He couldn't shoot without hitting Hannah. Let her go, Ethan said, his voice deadly calm. This is between us, not her. Everything is her. Carlo pressed the knife harder. Hannah felt blood trickle down her neck. She killed Victor. She destroyed my family, and now she pays. Then take me instead. Ethan lowered his weapon. Let her go. Take me. I'm who you really want. Don't, Hannah gasped. Ethan, don't. I'm the one who killed your niece, Ethan continued, walking forward slowly. I'm the one who started the war. I'm the one who destroyed everything you loved. Hannah just got caught in the crossfire, like your niece did. Carlo's grip loosened slightly. You want balance. Ethan stopped 10 feet away. You want justice. Take my life. But let her live. Let my daughter live. End this cycle. Be better than me. For a long moment, no one moved. Then Carlo shoved Hannah away and lunged at Ethan. Everything happened at once. Marcus fired, hitting Carlo in the shoulder. Ethan tackled him, and they went down in a tangle of fists and fury. Michael got Lily free and was pulling her toward the exit. And Hannah, bleeding and weak, grabbed her backup weapon and aimed at the mass of struggling bodies. Ethan, duck! Ethan threw himself sideways. Hannah fired 3 times. Carlo Grant collapsed dead before he hit the ground. The warehouse went silent. Hannah dropped her weapon, her legs giving out. Ethan caught her before she hit the floor. I've got you. Hannah, stay with me. Stay with me. Lily. Hannah's vision was graying out. She's safe? She's safe. Michael got her out. She's safe because of you. Good. Hannah's eyes fluttered closed. That's good. Don't you dare die on me, Hannah Westbrook. Don't you dare. But the darkness was pulling her under, warm and soft and final. She woke in a hospital room 3 days later. The first thing she saw was Lily's face inches from her own, the little girl's eyes red from crying. "You're awake," Lily sighed frantically. "You're alive. The doctor said you might not wake up, but you did. You're alive. Hey, baby girl." Hannah croaked, her throat raw. "Of course I woke up. I promised I'd always come back to you." Lily collapsed against her, sobbing silently. Ethan appeared on her other side, looking like he hadn't slept in days. "Welcome back. How long?" 3 days. You lost a lot of blood. The knife nicked an artery. They had to operate twice." Ethan's hand found hers. "You died on the table. Your heart stopped for 90 seconds. And then you fought your way back." "Couldn't leave you guys," Hannah said. "Who else would translate Lily's butterfly lectures?" Ethan's laugh sounded like a sob. "God, I love you." Michael appeared in the doorway holding a massive bouquet. "You're awake," Margot sent flowers. She also sent cookies, but I ate some, okay, most of them. "Sorry." Hannah smiled. "That's okay. Family shares everything, right?" "Right." Michael set the flowers down and came to the bedside. "Thank you for saving Lily, for saving all of us." "That's what we do," Hannah said. "We save each other." Over the next 2 weeks, Hannah healed. Physical therapy, wound care, slowly rebuilding strength. And during that time, something shifted in the family. Lily started making sounds. Not words yet, but sounds, little noises when she was happy, gasps when she was excited, humming when she colored. Dr. Kim said it was progress. That Hannah, almost dying, had broken through some of Lily's trauma, reminded her that silence wasn't protection, that the people you loved needed to hear from you while you still could. Michael flourished, his nightmares fading as he settled into the rhythm of family life. He started school, made friends, learned sign language so fast it made Hannah jealous. And Ethan was different too. Softer somehow, more present. He cut back on business, delegated, more spent entire days just being a father instead of a boss. 6 months after the warehouse, on a crisp autumn afternoon, Ethan gathered everyone in the garden. Lily wore her favorite purple dress. Michael had on the suit he'd picked out for special occasions. Margot was crying already, clutching tissues. And Hannah stood in a simple white dress, flowers in her hair, wondering how her life had become this beautiful, this perfect, this impossible. "You ready?" Ethan asked, looking devastating in his tuxedo. "I've been ready since the moment you broke Rick Thompson's wrist defending your daughter," Hannah said. "I just didn't know it yet." The ceremony was small, intimate, just family and the few people they trusted. Lily signed the vows along with the officiant, her small hands steady and sure. Michael stood as best man, holding the rings with the solemnity of someone who understood how precious this moment was. And when Ethan kissed Hannah, making her officially his wife, Lily made a sound. Not a word, not yet, but a sound of pure joy, the first purposeful noise she'd made in 3 years. Everyone froze. Lily's hands moved. "I'm so happy. I'm so happy I have a family again. I'm so happy Hannah's my mom now. I'm so happy Daddy found someone who makes him smile. I'm so happy we're all together." She made the sound again, something between a laugh and a sigh, rusty from disuse, but absolutely beautiful. Hannah dropped to her knees, pulling Lily into her arms. "Say it again, baby. Make that sound again." Lily did, and again, and then so soft Hannah almost missed it, a word formed. "Mug." The world stopped. "Mama," Lily repeated, stronger now. Her voice was rusty, uncertain, but real. "Mama, mama, mama." Hannah was crying too hard to respond. She just held Lily and nodded and let the little girl say the word over and over, like she was making up for 3 years of silence all at once. Ethan knelt beside them, his own eyes wet. "That's right, baby girl. That's your mama, your real mama, the one who chose you, the one who fought for you, the one who will never leave you." "Mama," Lily said again, this time looking right at Hannah. "My mama." "Yes, sweetheart, I'm your mama, forever." That night, after the celebration wound down and the guests left, the family gathered in the living room. Lily was curled against Hannah on the couch. Michael was sprawled on the floor teaching himself card tricks, and Ethan sat in his chair watching them all with an expression of complete contentment. "Tell me a story," Lily said, her new voice still strange to everyone's ears, but getting stronger every time she used it. "About when you first met Daddy?" Hannah smiled. "Well, I was just a waitress at a restaurant. Tired, broke, figuring I'd work there until I couldn't stand anymore. And then one day a little girl came into the kitchen. Me, Lily interrupted, delighted. You! And a very mean man was about to hurt you. And you saved me, Lily said softly, even though you didn't know who I was. I knew enough. I knew you needed help. Hannah stroked Lily's hair. And that's when your daddy came in and changed everything. He broke that man's wrist, Michael said cheerfully from the floor. I've heard this story like 50 times, and that's still my favorite part. It's a good part, Ethan agreed. Though personally, I prefer the part where Hannah told me she wasn't scared of my world because she'd been fighting her whole life just to survive. And the part where she shot Vincent Moretti to save me at the recital, Lily added. That's when I knew for sure she was my mama. Because she didn't even think. She just protected me. That's what love looks like, baby girl, Hannah said. Not just words, actions, choices, showing up even when you're terrified. Michael sat up. Tell the warehouse part, when Hannah took a knife meant for Lily. I'd rather not relive that particular memory, Hannah said dryly. But it's important, Michael insisted. It's when Carlo realized he couldn't win, that our family was stronger than his hate. Our family, Lily repeated, testing the words. I like how that sounds. Me too, Michael said. I never had a real family before. Not like this. You have one now, Ethan said firmly. All of you, Hannah, Lily, Michael, even Margot. You're all my family, my real family, the only one that matters. Later, after the kids were in bed, Hannah and Ethan stood on the balcony watching the city lights. Do you ever regret it? Ethan asked. Giving up your old life for this every single day, Hannah said. Ethan flinched. I regret that I didn't meet you sooner. Hannah continued smiling at his expression. I regret all those years I wasted surviving instead of living. I regret not knowing Lily from the day she was born. But this life our family known, never, not for a second. Even knowing what it cost you, the violence, the danger, the trauma, especially knowing what it cost, because that's how I know it's real. Hannah turned to face him. Easy things don't change you. Safe things don't transform you. I became who I was meant to be because loving you and Lily and Michael demanded everything I had, and then some. You became a warrior, Ethan said softly. My warrior. Our warrior. I became a mother. That's the only title that matters. Hannah leaned against him. And I'd do it all again. Every fight, every scar, every terrifying moment. Because they led me here. To you, to them, to home. Ethan kissed her forehead. We're really doing this, aren't we? Building something good out of all this darkness. We already did, Hannah said. Look at Lily. She's talking again. Look at Michael. He's thriving. Look at us. We survived. That's not building something good, Ethan. That's creating a miracle. They stood together in the darkness, two broken people who'd found each other and somehow built a family from the wreckage of their separate tragedies. Inside, Lily was sleeping peacefully, her butterfly journal open beside her, with a new entry that said simply, Today I got my voice back. Today Mama married Daddy. Today my family became forever. Michael was asleep across the hall, finally believing that this home wouldn't disappear, that these people wouldn't abandon him, that family really meant forever. And Margot was in the kitchen preparing tomorrow's breakfast, humming to herself, and thanking whatever gods were listening that they'd all made it through alive. The city sprawled below them, dangerous, beautiful, unforgiving Chicago, the same city that had almost destroyed them all. But they'd survived it, conquered it, built something stronger than its cruelty. They'd built a family, not the normal kind, not the safe kind, not the kind anyone would choose if they had easier options, but theirs, absolutely theirs. And that was enough, more than enough. It was everything. Hannah Westbrook had walked into Giordano's restaurant 6 months ago as a tired waitress with nothing to lose, and walked out as a mother, a wife, a warrior, and exactly who she was always meant to be.